Okay, hello everyone. Good evening. Joe will be here in just a minute. We had a phone call. Okay. All right. Okay. So here's Joe.
Greetings.
So I just said hello.
So who's here?
Oh, we have a lot of folks here. We have Sten 1, John Marciano, Jane Spitfire. Hello, Jane. And my good wife. Oops, it just.
Turn the fan off.
Okay. Faded in San Diego. And Wild Wall today is Wild Wall's birthday. Yes, happy birthday, Wild Wall. And let's see, Rebecca Wise. Everything is okay. I'm here. Hey, y'all. And let's see. We're here. And Ruby. Hi, Ruby. Ruby Quinn. Hey, Erin, Jane, Wild, Good Wife. Becky, John, Joe, and Fran. Anne-Marie. Hi, Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie DeSoto, the Anne-Marie from Rick's program.
Right.
She's here.
Oh, welcome.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us. Just reading through these, see if there's anyone else. Anne-Marie has a nice show every other Saturday on 6 Screens. It starts at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and she always has a lot of callers.
It's a legend.
Yeah, very
It's a
nice.
legend. It's just such a wonderful thing for everybody.
She always has some nice topics. And Shaq. Hi, Shaq. Probably still at work. Oh, yeah. Sky Graham. Hi, Sky.
Mike's on. Can you hear? Testing.
Yeah. How is the volume? 587 Maverick. Hello, Maverick. Okay. Well, Faded said no physical therapy today, so I finally get to listen to the whole program tonight. Well, welcome.
Wow.
Very nice. Well, others will be joining us. Wild says the sound is really good.
Oh,
all
that's
right.
Good. Let us know if things change.
Mm-hmm. So let's see. We can get right into the birthdays.
Always.
And Shauna's going to pull them up on our website. So for any of you that are new to this, our website is ExJWFriends. Live your life with love. And we feature birthdays, anniversaries, meetups. And if you're looking for a meetup, you can go there and we will find someone for you. We also have Discord on there. So birthdays for the month of April. We're in a new month.
Oh.
So yesterday, April 1st, was Donna Zuck Adley, Bunny Wallace, and Mary Parsons. That was yesterday. And today, April 2nd, is John Miller and Wild Wall. Tomorrow, April 3rd, Sylvia Becker. April 8th, Corey Mardis. Just let me know if you want to read some of these. April 9th, Yanero wait a minute.
Bacalo?
Bacalo.
Yeah, there's two C's.
Yeah,
C-A-C.
Bacalo. Yep, Yanera. April 10th, Sunny M. April 11th, you want to do something?
I'll read.
Okay.
April 11th, Tina, Debbie's daughter. April 12th, Steph woke up. Whoops. Sarah Soar High. Jacob, Michelle's son, 32 years old.
By the way, this is Jacob's first birthday he's celebrating because
Happy birthday.
He just left the organization.
Amen and welcome. April 14th, Martha Irwin. And then Martin Riley, who interviewed us.
Mm-hmm.
And April 17th, Rebecca Hayes.
Yeah.
Ruby. Wow. Robin Petillo and Stephanie. Wow, that's a day. April 18th, Josh and Jake Randall.
They're twins, by the way.
Yeah, we know them. And Alexis Lambert. April 20th, Linda Kiefer. and Michelle Martinez. Want to finish, honey?
April 21st, Tall Cool Woman and Trisha. April 24th is Espy, Michelle's daughter, 16 years old. April 26th, Jay is going to be 47. April 28th is Errol. April 29th, Lisa Kunson. April 30th is Ashley Campbell from the Liberati Group. So we wish everyone a happy birthday, and we've got a birthday song for you.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday!
Okay, so happy birthday.
Happy birthday. And
Oh,
I
we
hope
don't-
you're enjoying it.
Okay, so far we do not have any anniversaries listed for April,
Oh.
but I'm sure there are. I'm just checking over our calendar.
Yeah.
As we get these, we turn them into David, and David posts them for us.
And let us know if you don't think you're in. Let us know.
Yeah, either birthdays or anniversaries.
Birthday,
I'm
either
sure
one.
there's anniversaries
Either
in
one.
April.
Yeah, if you want us to know your.
My birthday was on the 2nd.
Yeah.
Yes, we did say it, Sten.
Or
We did say it.
who's?
Steann. Yes, we did
Yeah,
mention
We'll say
it.
it again.
Yep, April 2nd.
It doesn't make any older, but we'll say it again.
Did we say it?
Well, if we didn't, we'll say it again. Or
Let's
say it.
look back. Yeah, thank you, Shauna. Let's make sure he's on.
Well,
No, he's
April
not
2nd.
on.
Sorry
Okay,
about that. Good.
Sorry. Okay, thank you for letting us know. We will let David know and he'll put it up.
I just want to let you know the easiest thing in the world is to make either mistakes or omissions with this. So thanks for forgiving us ahead of time.
And thanks for letting us know, Stan.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Yes, so we make sure. And let's see, my son is on the 3rd. Wow. Okay. I'm just looking through these. I hope we don't lose anybody because last time that happened, we got knocked off. Can you still hear us? Is our sound okay? Everybody want to let us know? Can you still hear us? Last time the phone rang, we got cut off. I'll put it in the chat. Okay, my good wife said sound is perfect. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay. All right, let's see. Who else is in the chat that just came on? We don't want to miss anyone. Elaine Brain Drain. Happy birthday, y'all. Let's see, Maverick. It's my 10th anniversary of my disassociation letter day tomorrow, April 4th. So 10 years. Congratulations, Maverick. So that will be April 4th, right? Tomorrow? No, April 4th is Friday. Okay. Well, maybe where you live. I'm not sure. But congratulations. And also, Del Real Love. Hello, everybody. Driving home from work, had to go in the office today. Not able to continue to chat, but listening. Thank you, Del Real Love. She's got a very nice experience, how her mother that's been shunning her recently started talking to her. Many of the family members encouraged her mom. She said, you only have one daughter and you're getting older, so you should not shun your children. And it goes vice versa. Children should not shun their parents because they only have one mother and one father. So if any of you are listening out there and you're shunning your parents, you may want to reconsider that they are the ones that brought you into the world. No matter what your religious differences are, you should be able to put those aside and still have, like they said in the Norway trial, we still have normal family relationships. We just don't talk spiritual.
Don't forget they lie.
Oh. Well,
They
anyway,
lie.
I said if
They
there's
lie.
if there's anyone out there listening and they're
Yeah.
shunning either their parents or
Yeah.
parents are shunning their children,
Uh-huh.
you may want to think twice because you only have one mother and one father, and you bore these children. You you brought them into the world.
And we know many who previously practiced shunning, and they truly regret it. They regret it, and you want to think ahead. You want to think ahead on
Yeah.
that. And the question I asked Fran, I said, "Do you think our family even knows why they shun
Mm-hmm.
and really what it's achieving?" I know what they tell them, but I truly don't think they truly understand.
Mm-mm.
They're so locked into a world,
Yeah.
and I don't think they do. But I think more and more there's an exposure of it, and there's people listening right now. There's friends
yeah.
that are still in,
Mm-hmm.
but are listening, and please listen
Yes.
and see that there's something there for you.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate you for being interested,
Mm-hmm.
because we're
Yeah.
interested in you.
We are.
Don't forget
The
all.
phone, please.
What's that?
The phone, please.
Don't forget
Mhm.
all the ones that are X now.
Thank
We're quite in, just like the ones that are in right now. We were all
Yeah, we
very
just
much in.
we just came out at different times.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
And
So this is almost like a journey,
yeah.
and we're at a certain point on each of us, a certain point on that journey.
Yes.
You're not alone on that journey. None of us are alone with that, and it's so important to find that out. Otherwise, you'll feel alone.
Yes, we will.
You'll feel alone.
Mm-hmm.
There's no need to feel alone.
Yeah, and you weren't here, but it's my 10th anniversary. Maverick said it's my 10th anniversary of my disassociation day, letter day tomorrow, April 4th. So it's been 10 years of freedom.
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to get to the meetups and announcements. So, and also someone thought it was my birthday today. No, that was March 2nd. I think Elaine may have gotten the months mixed up. So mine was March 2nd and Joe's was March 1st. So we already celebrated ours. Okay. So upcoming events, April 5th, that would be this Saturday. It's an online meetup. So anybody can go. The time is 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time. So if you, how do you go to that? You go to the, just type in DC ExJW Meetup. See if you can find it that way. If you can't find it that way, then you can go to the meetup online. Okay. Did I miss something? So that was the DC ExJW online meetup. And also at the same day, this Saturday, is the ExJW Burbank, California meetup. And the details, let's see, all you have to do, this is all on the website. You just click on, if you're anywhere near Burbank, let's see, Sunday, April 5th, from 4 to 7. And it's at the Brew Brothers Brewery, 3000 West Olive Ave, Burbank, California. The hosts are Jerry Stone, also known as Shack Composer.
He's a great host.
And JP.
Yep.
Yep. And Karina Harding.
Yep.
They're the ones organizing this one. So it's you can go on the brewery website, www.brewsbrotherscraftbeer.com. And they were there last year, so they said they had a nice time and they wanted to have it at the same place. So they're hoping for a really nice turnout. If you live anywhere near the Burbank, California, you don't want to miss it. Also on April 5th, there's 3 between 7 and 9 p.m. And this is on the This is going to be with Elle Reno, Ask a Coach. And there's a picture of Elle. She's got her own channel, but this is going to be on Discord. It's under Ask a Coach. So this is a new meetup. Is this going to be every week, Shauna? I mean, every month? It says, meet Elle Reno, a passionate life coach and advocate for healing. Shauna, is this going to be every month?
I'm not too sure what their schedule is going to be. This is our first one. Ruby is going to be hosting this with Elle on Discord. I believe I have the Discord link for the event. Oh, and it didn't let me post it, but I will try to get that out to you. So yeah, if it goes well, you never know where this is going to lead. So just great lady, great content, and another source of help for those that are looking for it.
Thank you. Yeah, Ruby said maybe once a month. And there's the link for the Discord. If anybody wants to go on it, it's very easy. Just download that link for discord.com. And there's all kinds of events and movies and chatting and all kinds of things. So you never have to be lonely or alone. There's always someone willing to chat with you. It's all online. Okay, back to the schedule. So now into May 18th, we are having an ExJW Excellent Chicken Barbecue meetup. This is going to be near us. If anyone is interested, you can go on this ExJWFriends meetup. It's going to be in Remsen, New York. It's not too far from us. And it's hosted at the Kiefer's house near the lake. They're not on the lake. That was my mistake, but they're by the lake.
Yeah.
Cayuta Lake. Please bring a dish, beverage, or something to, we're already getting some RSVPs, but we need to know probably a couple weeks before the meetup. So we'll be checking with folks on that. Then, of course, another large meetup, probably the biggest ExJW meetup ever, still alive in 2025 convention. Okay, August 1st, starting at 9 a.m. to August 3rd, ending 9:30 p.m. And it's going to be in Tewksbury, Massachusetts. Rick Fearon is hosting this. You can go to the website. You can see it on ExJWFriends, all the details for that. We just got our hotel room today, so we're going to be staying at the Hilton, but there may be other places available.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of people there. There's going to be different folks flying in, speakers. It should be a really nice time.
It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, nobody's ever done
It's
anything.
gonna be very
There's going to be at least 300.
First
There's
ever.
room for 500.
First ever.
Yeah.
You have to think about it. Try to visualize it. You know, that many people connected, getting together, who you're going to look at them and say, are we at a convention? Well, you are, but it's not going to be a witness convention.
Not a witness convention. They're going to be all
It's going to be
ExJWs.
free people who are, who are so, I guess I want to think of the right word. People you've never met before, even if you think you know them, you're going to discover them because they're discovering themselves as well. And it's going to be special. It really is. If you want something new in your life, if you want to feel new and help others, that's what this is all about. It is.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of the notes here. And let's see, Jane Spitfire says, Sky, trying to keep my job. I work at a veteran hospital every Monday. Got tell human resources, and my boss emailed telling me work did in past week. If not, you get fired. Yeah, people are getting really nervous about their jobs. Okay. That's too bad. Also, Rebecca, thank you for the correction. The 5th is Saturday, so all those meetups that we mentioned are on Saturday. If I mentioned Sunday, I was wrong. And Faded said meetup, not meeting. That's correct, yeah. So, am I going too fast?
No.
Okay. Apparently they're laying off a lot of people where Jane is. They told the CDC laid off 1,200 more staff. One lady was on the news and said she is a JW and will rely on her faith. Well, that's what they say.
Okay, and just a sound note. Does our microphone need to be closer?
Can everyone hear
Any
us?
professional experts out there that want to weigh in on that? Do our microphones need to be closer?
We can hold them
Is
like
that
this.
too close?
Does it make better?
Does that make any difference here?
Testing, testing. My good wife says, I think they sound great, loud and clear. Is there any way you can turn up your volume, Anne Marie? I can hear fine, says Jane Spitfire. Sometimes it's your device that you're using,
Yeah.
but I know sometimes it's ours.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
hi, Dinah Lost again. Thank you for joining us. Rebecca says Mike was great before. Okay.
Well, let us know.
Let us know.
And then,
Okay. And Annie says you're fine here. Thank you, Annie, for letting us know.
okay.
Well, okay, so we did all the birthdays, no anniversaries yet. Please let us know if there's any anniversaries in April. And we've got all the meetups and the announcements out of the way.
Now you can get paid.
Oh, good. We do have some
You're not gonna get
surgeries.
paid.
No, I know. I know. I'm not looking for payment.
I don't have to.
That's right. Can we mention a few surgeries coming up so we can keep them in our prayers, our thoughts, our hearts?
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Okay. I know Linda Egan from Virginia is having a very serious operation on April 9th. Please keep her in mind and wishing her all the best. Friday, our brother-in-law David Podos's surgery, April 4th. And I know that Debbie is having surgery, her third surgery, April 7th. So please keep Debbie in mind. If you want to send cards, we have her address. But it's on her leg, her bottom leg. It just isn't healing the way it should be. So this is surgery number 3. Dinah Loss said, hey, Shauna, Jane, Faded in San Diego, and all our beautiful community. Yes, we are. And Anne Marie wants to have a sweatshirt made saying, I survived 1975.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, Jane says, poor Debbie. Yeah, she could use some encouragement. Debbie's gone through a lot. And we're hoping that her body heals. Just takes a lot longer when we're older.
Yeah.
So the topic tonight is toxic family versus sacred friendships.
Yeah. Yeah. Our family is our first community because our parents, even if it's just 2 people, that's our community.
Mm-hmm.
And if it wasn't for our mother and father, we wouldn't be here. Biologically, they were necessary for us to be what we are. So they were there for our existence and for our preservation, to keep going on, to live, to eat, to be kept warm and sheltered and everything safe. Everyone outside of that now can enter into that, our life. And hopefully they're all friends. And unfortunately, there's some that aren't friends. They're enemies, or they're ones that are dangerous. Well, we don't. Our parents generally protect us from that. They should. We need protection at that point. We need protection and care. Unfortunately, after we're born, not every one of us is protected as we should have been. We know that. And so that biological relationship that brought us about, unfortunately, becomes the place where we're hurt, injured, abused. And it shouldn't have been that way. It just was very wrong. We didn't come into the world for that. And I'm sure your parents didn't choose to do that. I truly hope they didn't choose to. If some do choose for that, to bring a child into this world for that, I have the greatest contempt for them, for that. So our family, hopefully, as we grow, it can become a place where we can grow and be safe and learn, you know, and progress and make all these things, these growth steps we need to make as we get older. Unfortunately, it may not. It may become a place where it's toxic, where it actually makes us not only hurt but sicker, and keeps us sick. The very cause for our existence, place of our existence, becomes toxic to us. Well, that's not sacred. It's very unfortunate. I mean, in fact, there's a scripture in the Bible says that they will be brought forth for disturbance. And if you think about it, unfortunately, a person has to be born in order to suffer in their lives. They have to be born first. And if they're born, what am I born for? Well, the Bible says they will be brought forth for disturbance. So we become disturbed in our life, hurt, injured, abused. Well, okay, but some would say, but that's family and it's sacred. But it also can become, and has in many cases been, and is, toxic. In other words, it's not sacred anymore. It's harmful. Oh, well, how should I view it then? I mean, what should I do? It's my family. I should remain loyal to it. They brought me forth. Would it be right to disengage from them? Well, if you don't disengage from them, you're going to continue to be abused. In that situation, if it's toxic, it in many cases simply doesn't get better. The toxicity, the activities that goes on there, just in many cases just doesn't get better. It gets worse. So the longer that young person stays, the more they're going to run into trouble. The more they're going to get hurt. Now, the difference here between shunning and something else called no contact. Big difference. We know what shunning is. I know what shunning is. Fran knows what shunning is. You know what shunning is. All of you, because you were taught how to shun. And maybe you did shun. And maybe you are being shunned. So we know shunning. And the purpose of shunning, they say, is because it's a loving provision. Well, I can't support that. in the least. I do not believe it's shunning at all. It's a distorted, corrupted practice that pretends to care, while really what it's doing, it's exercising tremendous, tremendous power of an influence over family members. Fearful, coercion, destructive. That's shunning. Now, so what about no contact? Going no contact. In other words, if my family was that abusive to me and negligent, and just I couldn't live healthy around them,
Mhm.
I would have to conclude that I can't stay in contact with them. The longer I'm in contact with them, the more I'm going to suffer. And someone looks and says, your family's toxic. They know it, they see it. And the more you stay connected, you're going to get hurt. Yeah, but it's sacred. It's my family. It's my family. It is. It's your toxic family. And the longer you stay there, the longer you get hurt.
Mhm.
So the only reasonable thing is to go no contact. I can't stay around them. I can't stay around them. And that has nothing to do with shunning. That is not shunning. That's protection.
Mhm.
That's self-protection. Something you're not getting from that family. In fact, you're getting the opposite from the family or that group, whatever. It may not just be a group. It could be a family. It could be another group of people. I would need to go no contact. Oh, well, you don't love them then. If I went in no contact because I was being abused in my family, well, would someone say, well, don't you love them? Well, it's like, I may love them, but I don't get love from them. Am I required to continue to give love to someone who doesn't return it?
Mhm.
Well, no. That's abusive. That's self-abusive. That's exposing yourself to self-abuse. So someone would look at you rightfully and say, you need to get away from them. You need to put distance between you and them. Fran's putting distance from me right now.
Excuse me, I'm gonna get
I
something to
don't think
drink.
she.
Sorry.
The difference between shunning and no contact. And I think that's important to make that distinction, because especially the exes, all the friends, witnesses that come out and they're now here, exes. Now they're all around and connecting with each other. Well, of all the people in the world, the ExJWs know how to shun each other if they choose to shun each other, because they've been taught how to. They've been encouraged how to. Okay. Well, so if there were to be a tendency of anybody to shun, it would be them, because they've been taught how to. And for them, it's an option if they choose. But we know that the effect of it. But what about now if among the ExJWs, people that come out, they're in amongst a group, a number of them, where, this is proving to be toxic. I mean, it shouldn't be. Of course, no, of course it shouldn't be. But humans are humans. Humans aren't perfect. We're never going to be perfect. We're going to have difficulties. There's going to be different styles. There's going to be different emotional levels and different levels of love and care and compassion. And when you put people together, there's going to be problems. Not everybody is going to be able to care for each other the same way, the way they need to be cared for. And if the longer a bad relationship is kept up, the more hurt is going to be. And unless a disconnect takes place, people are going to get hurt. Well, we're not here to get hurt. You're not here to get hurt. Just because we're all ExJWs.
Mhm.
See, that could be a quote unquote sacred group, sacred relation. You can view it as sacred. We're X, so we all are on the same wavelength. Well, we may be, but then again, we may not be. In which case, we have to take care of ourselves. We have to acknowledge our personal needs and truthfully face up to them if we're being hurt, or if there's something going on that it just doesn't feel right for you. You need to do something about it. And that's not shunning. That's not shunning. Unless you choose to practice shunning, I don't recommend that. But if that's the case, if it's toxic for you, you need to put distance. No contact. No offense, but this is making me sick.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I'm feeling that this is making me sick. This situation, unless something changes,
Mhm.
I've got to put distance. And you would have to understand that for others as well. Just as you might need to, you have to understand that others might need to as well. It's not a sign of shunning just because someone goes no contact. They're not shunning.
Mhm.
They're taking their personal, emotional, physical health into their hands, and they're adjusting their contact. It's every right in the world to do that. And it's good for all to be sensitive to that with each other.
Mhm.
That way we can avoid a lot of that. Maybe we can even be sensitive to, what are we doing in this group? What's happening? Are we becoming more of a liability, or what are we missing?
Mhm.
We want to be open to that.
We want to go into the video.
Yeah, great video. Your views too, whenever you want to
Yeah,
give
if
them.
you want to come
Your
on.
views.
It's called The One Word All Liars Use. And this is a video interview. They're not Jehovah's Witnesses, they're ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. This is Jefferson Fisher. He's a lawyer.
Not this man, but someone else. This is the interviewer.
This is the interviewer. His channel is, what's the name of his channel? It's the CEO.
When somebody is belittling you or being rude or
Yep,
being
sorry.
disrespectful, typically what to do is throw it.
Okay. I forget his name of his channel.
Well, let's say it. I can't see. It's too small to see.
Yeah, but anyway, he interviews a lot of different folks. So this one's a really good interview. We're breaking it up into small segments, and we'll talk in between. But there's some good points on how to deal with people. The first one is say it with control versus fight or flight. Anytime you want, Shauna.
It's like I want to be a much better conversationalist, and I want to be a much more effective communicator. I want to argue less. I want to talk more. I want to be heard more. This is probably reflective of most people listening right now. So if I was a student of yours coming in to be trained by you, where is the first place you would start with me?
Number one,
Yeah.
you say it with control.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, so when you're in an argument with somebody, what happens automatically is your fight or flight starts to take over, even in a little argument, especially even in the small ones. If I disagree with your opinion, your fight or flight kicks in because your body's saying, hey, I'm being undermined. Your mind is telling you, hey, I didn't like that. What he's saying is different from what I'm saying. You know what? We're going to think of some other things. It's going to put that down. Immediately, what I want to do is say something that is going to fight. In other words, I'm going to hurt you. I want to say something that's going to cut you. I want to say something that is hurtful, or we run from it. You ever had somebody been on the phone and go, I'm over this, and they hang up?
Yeah.
Or they go, I'm out of here. You know what? Forget this. And they go and slam the door. That's their flight. That's they're leaving. I feel threatened in this current moment by this conflict, by this differing view. So I need to get out of it. When you decide to say it with control, you make sure that that doesn't happen. And it all begins with your breath. All right, that's the key. So what I teach every one of my clients is let your breath be the first word that you say. So we'll run through it right now.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do it an exaggerated one. And what this is called, and it takes advantage of, is a physiological sigh. So what we're going to do is 2 seconds in through the nose, one more at the top, and then go, yeah, okay. How do you feel after you do that?
Very relaxed.
Yeah, all right, cool. So what we're going to do is get a shortcut to that exact result. This time, we're going to do it, same thing, but don't make the noise. One more stop. Through the mouth here. Now, instead of the mouth, only through the nose. Ready? Now we did that almost a little, that was very intentional. So let's do it again, but give it a haircut as if like you don't even, you're not even gonna get me to notice. Ready? That right there.
Mm-hmm.
Now that is your go-to. Whenever somebody is telling you something that you disagree with, that is your go-to before you even say your first word, because it is going to make sure that fight or flight never kicks in. It keeps that analytical side, that logical side in it the whole time. Instead of going, oh, but wait, they can't yell at me like that. No, that's a dumb idea. Can you believe that you say, instead of that, that's your fight or flight. You never even gave yourself a chance to breathe. When you breathe and use that, what I call a conversational breath, now it allows you to go, I wonder where this is coming from. I wonder why they said it like that. Now it allows you to kind of stay detached from that current moment because you're injecting your breath into it. When you allow yourself to breathe, then it's going to keep you much calmer. And so anytime I have a client that maybe is getting a question from an attorney that would be triggering to them or upsetting to them, it's always the training of use your breath while they're asking the question and start getting really curious as to why they're asking that. What's the point that they're trying to prove? Don't look at the surface of the question. Look at the intent behind it. Where are they trying to take you? Whenever I can teach them that, it's a very powerful result.
And to do that, I have to kind of be comfortable with the fact that there will be a pause between my response and their question.
Yeah.
Which is quite uncomfortable for a lot of people.
You'd think, but the more they do it, the better it becomes. In fact, I like it because it tells you that I actually listened. So let's say, for example, ask me about just say, how was your day, Jefferson?
How was your day, Jefferson?
It was good. It was good. My day was great. It was a day. Ask me again.
How was your day, Jefferson?
It was good. It was a good day. I liked it. You see how one says, I didn't even think about what you asked me?
Yeah.
The other says, no, I actually thought about the question. I considered it.
Yeah.
And then I chose my answer. And so that you can do that even when, especially for leaders, they go into a very busy work environment where there are problems right on the floor. They have to address this right at that current moment. The bad leaders will get very hectic and rise to that same level of energy. The great leaders will capture the calm energy. They inject that breath and go, okay, what's next? Have you ever, my grandfather, for example, I can ask him, one time I was like, hey, do you know where your screwdriver is? And he goes, yeah. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, but there's something about it where these kind of people in your life that you're looking and drawn to the calm energy, the anchors in your relationship and your conversations, the people that just to be near them calms you down. Just to be around them, you go, okay, great. Steven's here. I feel better. Good. Okay, he's here. All right, things are going to go all right. Because they're looking for the person who is going to be the lead, not just in the conversation, but the frequency of the room. It's a calm energy that you have to capture.
When you took that pause when I asked you how your day had been, two interesting.
Okay, so that was, are we muted? Are we unmuted? Can you hear us?
I think we're hot.
Okay, because they muted us during the video.
Yep, I think we're on.
Okay.
There was a point there, and the point was to maintain control rather than lose control and react in a way where everything breaks down.
They mentioned the fight or flight. Somebody feels like somebody is like interrogating them or questioning them or maybe using the wrong tone of voice, and the first thing you want to do is fight back. But here they're telling you to do the breath thing. And it may sound like a simple thing, but it really does help because it slows you down and you're thinking about, okay, where's this going to go? What's this person asking? Rather than just fly off with something and just answer the first thing that comes to your mind.
Yeah, and he mentioned too that not to be so concerned about just a question, but more importantly, the intent of the question. Like, what did you ask me that for? You know, I know what you asked me, but why? That's where slowing down thinking helps, and that taking that breath. You know, it's an initial thing. You're not avoiding it. You're thinking about it, and at the same time, you're centering yourself so you don't get unhinged. You get unhinged, and
it's over.
yeah, not good. Nice little technique.
Yeah.
Incidentally, this Jefferson here was he was raised around his father.
Fifth generation.
Five generations of attorneys. So these guys know how to communicate effectively, and he grew up around that. So he's got a lot of very helpful points of view.
One of our friends just said, dang, love this guy. Jefferson Fisher is my go-to. Now if I can just learn to breathe.
Yeah.
So good.
Just breathe.
Thank you for that comment. That was a personal comment.
Yeah.
Okay, they've got another part here. This whole video is 2 hours long, but we just took out little snippets.
Yeah, I highly recommend it.
So that was the first point. You said control.
Yeah, control. Say it with control.
Okay. Is there a second point?
Number 2, say it with confidence.
Confidence. Okay. How do I say something with confidence?
You have to first understand what it is. And I don't mean that in like a woo-woo like setting. A lot of people come to me and go, how do I have the confidence to say this? I'm getting up the courage or confidence to say that. It's the wrong way to look at it. Confidence is not what you have before. Confidence is the outcome. And you get to that by saying things that are assertive. What I teach is confidence is as assertive does. So when you learn how to use your assertive voice, the result is feeling confident. Like if I were to tell you right now, Stephen, I need you to feel sad. You have a hard time feeling sad. If I say, I need you to be afraid right now, like, what is there to be afraid of? Like, you just can't conjure that feeling. Now, if I, for whatever reason, just gave you a elbow to the chest, I mean, you'd be like upset, right? You don't have to wonder what it's like to feel mad. You're going to feel it. It's the same with confidence. You can't just conjure up the feeling of confidence. You only get it by doing assertive things. And the people that are most confident, I find, are the people that have done the thing already. So they have already said the assertive thing. They've already used their voice, because the more assertive they are, the more confident they're going to feel. That's the way it works. So you do it, you find confidence by using your assertive voice.
And what is my assertive voice? And how is sort of an assertive voice different to like disrespecting someone? I've got this graph, I think it's taken from your book,
Okay.
which shows the sort of middle ground of, I'll put it on the screen for anyone that can't see, but respecting others sort of versus respecting yourself. And in the middle there, you have your assertive voice.
Right.
What is my assertive voice?
It's a balance. It's a balance between sounding almost passive and sounding aggressive. Assertive says, I'm willing to be direct with you, even in the face of it not going well, but I'm at least going to give you my truth. Or I'm going to say what I need to say without sounding rude. Whenever you are direct with someone, it's also very kind to someone. If I were to tell you and prep the sentence with, Steve, I'm going to tell you this because I know you can handle it. That's different than me going, hey, look, this is probably going to upset you. And I don't mean to upset you, but you just let me know. Like, that is whole lot harder. The assertive voice is, I'm going to be very direct. At the same time, I'm going to say it with a sense of, doesn't have to do with me trying to push my way. I'm just letting you know where I stand. You don't have to always play nice. That's not what I'm saying. There are times when somebody says something that's terrible to you. You don't have to push back. You just can't be pushed over. And so when you learn your assertive voice, that's where you find ways to speak your truth more easily and more readily. So one of the first words or the lessons of say it and using your assertive voice is that every word matters. The number one culprit of that is the word just. We use the word just a lot. It's probably one of my weaknesses that I have is using the word just. In common conversation, no problem. Nobody cares. But when it comes to having to push a boundary, say something at work, be a little bit more on your toes, just has a way of making you sound hesitant. The most common way we hear that is if somebody goes, maybe an email or a text, hey, just wanted to check in with you. Hey, do you have 5 seconds? Just wanted to touch base with you. It sounds like you're hesitant, as if like, I don't really want to bother you. If you remove the word just, now you're leaning into it. So instead of, I just want to check in, I wanted to check in with you. That's a lot more forward progress rather than just using the word just. But every little word matters. You've had those texts where somebody gives you like a whole paragraph. I don't know how to respond to this. What I teach is that the longer your answer, the more questions you're going to get. The longer that conversation is going to go.
Interesting. Now, apparently this man it puts a lot of thought into conversation. Now there are different styles and different reasons for this. He's not talking about baseball scores or what you like about the weather or whatever. He's talking about situations where the message really matters. The communication, there's consequences to it one way or the other. So that I don't want to mess this up. It's important that there's an importance to it. So this is it's an alternative. It's someone said that it could be sound choreographed. Well, in many cases, it would be better off if the message was measured and careful, because the person could easily say, "Oh, I shot my mouth off, and I was speaking out of emotion, and he didn't like what I said, and I didn't mean that, and blah 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 blah," and everything ran off the rails. Mm-hmm. This man knows because he trains defendants and
trial
and what are they? People who would give evidence and whatever on stand to speak, so that there isn't a lot of confusion, because there's consequences if there is confusion, like jail time or a fine or something like that. So now we're not all going to be in that situation, but we are often in situations with family or friends where, holy smokes, I didn't think this was going to happen. I just said such and such, or what do you mean? Sometimes more thought needs to be given to what you wanted to say.
I like what Wildwall says. He says, nothing wrong with being confident. Stay away from being arrogant or conceited, though.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, it's
differences.
different.
Oh
It's
boy,
different.
there are differences. And if you don't know what the differences are, well, just do some research on them. This is a wonderful opportunity to make these kinds of progress in what we are ourselves, what we project, how we know ourselves. So how we know ourselves. No one's telling you to work on it. No one's, this isn't the school,
Overseer.
the Lost Star school overseer jerk that's telling you've got to work on such and such and such and such. Oh, go to blazes. I don't want to work on that. No, it's not the case. It's like these are options, alternatives that we can put into practice ourselves if we want to.
Oh, yes.
If we want to be better at something.
Yeah, the video, thank you, Yvonne, The Diary of a CEO, that's the channel, and he interviews a lot of different people.
Yeah.
I find when I speak slower and think about what I want to say, it comes out better and people will listen. But if I just rattle something off, I'll either say something wrong, I'll mispronounce my words, I'll look stupid. So I purposely have to slow myself down and think before I just say something. But there's a lot of good points in this video. Shall we do the third part? And then I think Annie wants to come on, and anyone else that wants to come on and has anything to say, because he does bring out other points, and we can mention those.
So many people are so interested in understanding how to deal with disrespectful people.
Yeah.
Like being disrespected.
Right.
So if I'm being disrespected, is there a playbook for me to handle that? And why is it that so many people are so obsessed with like dealing with disrespect?
I find that people are really attracted to comebacks of things. And I find that so funny, but it's a big part of communication for an important reason. When somebody is, let's say, belittling you or being rude or being disrespectful, there's I teach a little bit of a different method for each one. And how you handle it makes a very big difference. What we typically want to do when somebody's being rude to us or disrespectful, we want to throw it right back at their face. We want to ratchet it up because now we gotta win. So, oh, you think I'm stupid? How about let me talk about how you're stupid. I mean, so we want to throw it back at the other person. All that does is ratchet it up. And then again, it becomes to who's going to apologize first. That kind of is where the game starts to lead. I was curious what you have on the book now.
Well, I was just looking at this section in your book about dealing with difficult people.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite.
It's your favorite?
Yeah, it was also probably the most popular part of the book because it outlines a specific manual on how to handle these kinds of people. And I've developed it from these people specifically that I've had in depositions and cross-examinations in the courtroom, that very combative people that you find ways to, you think that the power is in having a direct response back at them that's going to uppercut them. Like smart people like you, Stephen, people like all your listeners, we have this desire that when somebody says something ugly, we want to send the zinger. Like we want to craft something so poetic that it's not going to hit them to the 2 days. They're like, oh my gosh, she totally got me. And that's just not going to happen. But the true power is this kind of be like water mentality. It's instead of direct with them, you're just avoiding it. You're pushing it out of the way to where you're going, what you're saying is not threatening to me. And you do that in several different ways. This would be how I'd say how to handle people that are belittling you or giving you disrespect. One, you're going to add silence, 5 to 7 seconds of nothing. Two, you're going to ask them to say it again. Let's say it's insults. Those insults are very direct. You're going to ask them to repeat it. And three, you're going to just let that sit. It's whatever they say. So for example, let's put it in terms of somebody who, let's give it an example. This would be somebody who's giving you just a straight insult. Insults are different from disrespect or something being rude. Insults are very direct. It's somebody saying like, you're ugly, right? If I were to say you're ugly, how would you respond? And you're not, by the way, but let's just say.
It's so hard because it's like the context dependent. Like
Yeah,
if you
oh,
just said
yeah,
it
yeah,
slightly,
yeah.
I'd laugh. But
Yeah.
if it was like, it depends on the context, doesn't it?
Yeah,
So
I was
you-
like, oh, that's the shirt you went with, I guess. All right, okay. Like that's
Yeah.
whenever somebody is insulting you,
Yeah.
we have this ability to get really mad and stew on it and get angry. But best way to do it is, let's say if you told me, I really think you're an idiot, Jefferson. Give it a little bit of silence, and I would repeat, I'm an idiot, Jefferson. Now it's going to put a spotlight right back on you for you to confirm it, double down on it, or you're going to apologize. A lot of time in arguments, people take it back. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. My head was, I got too in front of it. But if they double down on it, all you need to do is just thank them. Thank you. In other words, thank you for showing me who you are. Thank you for making sure that I'm not going to be with you anymore. And this is who you are in my life. Very different from, let's say, with somebody who is belittling you, patronizing you, being condescending to you. This is where it gets fun. This is one of my favorite ones. So let's give this a test. Oh, Steven, I see that you lost some weight. That's great, man. Good for you. How would you typically want to respond to that?
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, if I had said something that was a little bit more ugly, if it was like, "Oh, you finally lost some weight. I was wondering when you would." Yeah, that's good on you. Would you still say thank you again?
No,
Yeah. What would you say?
that's rude.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. You'd be like, "Oh, okay, that's a little offensive." So here's what I would want you to do. Add silence. We're gonna have 5 to 7 seconds of silence, and what that does is allow them their words to fall. So it's going to, tell you that their words aren't threatening. You're adding that space in there for 2 reasons. 1, to calm you down, because you can be using that breath we talked about. Second of all, it allows them to hear their words back, because it's like they walk their words out onto a plank and now they're all alone. So if you had said something ugly to me and you said something like, "Oh, well, Jefferson, great to be here. I guess we'll include you. I guess you just came." It's something that made me feel like I wasn't wanted. And if I just let that hang for a little bit, and then I ask a question of intent, these are what I call questions of intent, where it says, "Did you say that to upset me? Did you say that to hurt me? Or did you mean?" If you begin your phrase with, "Did you mean?" Did you mean for that to offend me? Did you mean for that to be rude? I do this a lot in email correspondence or texts. When somebody sends something to you and you feel like all of a sudden it's rude, but really if you just text, "Did you mean for that to sound short?" Like it cures up almost instantly, because it's not exactly, a lot of the time people don't mean it that way. But they're going to say something to you that is going to respond in, most likely they're going to say no. They're not going to know how to handle that. They're not going to do with that. If you can respond with, imagine being the person who would say that, or "How did you want me to feel?" Or ask them, "How did you feel when you said that? How does it make you feel when you say that?" You're going to say something ugly to me and I give it a big pause and I would respond, "How does it make you feel when you say that to me?" Or, "I'm surprised you said that out loud."
Can you just tell them how it felt? Can you just say, "That was really hurtful"?
Yeah, you can, but that's giving them what they want. You're giving them the dopamine. That's what they wanted. They said that so that it would hurt. They're saying that because in their mind, they wanted you to have that sense of pain. They wanted to grab that from you. They wanted that sense of control. So when you say, "Oh, that hurt," often that's exactly what they wanted in that moment. Now it's going to take them some time to realize, "Oh, I was really a jerk about that." But in that moment, what they're wanting is that hit of dopamine from you. They're wanting that sense of control. So when you ask them a question, so if I were to say that was rude, you're giving them what they want. That's a direct statement. But if I ask, "Did you say that? Did you say that to be rude? Did you mean for that to sound rude?" Now they have to admit. That's very different. Now they have to admit what their intent was with that. Now they have to say yes or no. Most of the time what they do is they kind of fumble over their words and they go, oh, what I meant to say was, or no, I'm sorry. What I meant was, they don't want to hurt now. They're going to hurt their reputation. Now they put themselves way too far out on a ledge, and that's much harder.
On page 160.
Does it ever happen?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, does it ever happen?
All the time.
Somebody says something that, bothers you, hurts you.
You hurt me.
Right. How shall I feel about that? I mean, did you think I wanted to? Well, what do you do? What do you do if there's something like that? See, there's options to the way we can respond, and there's no set rules for any of this. There really isn't. But the point that he was trying to make is just to keep it in control, because otherwise they're gonna, just like Watchtower, they like to control and manipulate. See, that an insult is a manipulative form of communication. They want to pull your chain, okay? They want to make you feel. So if they can pull your chain, and they can feel good about it. I got him. It's like, well, okay. I guess they want to feel good off of you. Well, how much do you want to cooperate? We cooperate when we give back what they think we would react.
Yeah, they wanted the power and the control from us.
Yeah.
So, these simple tactics, like rather than saying that was rude, because then you put it right, like he said, you're putting it right in their hands, their power. That's what they want.
Oh, good. I meant to be.
Yeah, as opposed to saying, well,
Did you mean?
did you mean to be rude when you said that?
Did you mean that to be rude? Like,
Now you're putting it back in their court, and now they've got to answer. Like he said, they're going to fumble, and they're going to say, "Oh, no, they're not expecting you to come back with that."
See, any of this isn't to be, really clever at answering and smart and whatever, but it's to maintain the best relations we possibly can have without our mouths or their mouths messing everything up. Because we do that. You do things with your hands. You ever do things with your hands and you fumble? You did something that's like, what a stupid thing. I got to straighten it out now. You didn't mean to. Or you were frustrated maybe and you swatted. I don't know. You could have been anything. Well, doing that with others tends to mess up the relationships with them. And frankly, no one's got too many friends. Do you have too many friends?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think anyone has too many friends so that they can eliminate them from their lives. We got someone
Annie.
who can
Yep.
tell
Hi,
us.
Annie.
Hello, Annie.
Hi, Joe and Fran. How you doing?
Hello.
Good.
Annie.
I
Thank you.
absolutely love. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to thank you for coming on.
Okay. I always interrupt that part when I come
No,
up.
go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll be quiet.
No. I was going to say I absolutely love that video. I've watched it twice so far, and there's just so many applicable points that we can use in our everyday life to keep the friction down between people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just by having some skills. I thought it was interesting that at some point in that video, he actually referred to the book of James. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
James talks about the tongue
Yeah.
and how it can start a fire,
Yeah.
major fire. So I thought that was interesting that he was able to use scripture with that. But,
Mhm.
and also I'll add to that is about self-control. One of the fruits of the spirit we were taught was self-control. And so the more controlled you are of your spirit, then you're the stronger person. It's the
Mhm.
person who's losing their control that is really a weak person, and someone who yells and carries on and doesn't let the other person talk. They're really showing themselves for what they are. But the controlled person is they're control of themselves, they're control of their own spirit, and they stand ahead above the person who's yelling. And I liked the point he said when someone is yelling at him, he'll say, "I don't respond to that volume." So
Yeah, I liked that point.
yeah.
Say it again, Annie, in case it was one of my favorite points. If somebody's yelling at you, what do you say?
He says, "I don't respond to that volume."
Yeah,
So he's actually kind of put them in their place and made them kind of look bad because they're out of control. And yeah, he makes so many good points in that video.
yes.
Yeah.
Just looking at Wild Wall says that Ephesians 4:11 is also applicable as well. It says, "Get rid of all bitterness, rage, anger, brawling, slander, along with every form of malice. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as Christ God forgave you." Yeah, there's a lot of good points in the Bible that,
Oh,
Proverbs and
yeah.
things like that are
These,
helpful in our day-to-day life.
but you see what Jefferson is doing is giving you the tools of how to apply that scriptural advice if you want
Yeah.
to blend the two. He's
That's
giving
right.
you the tools. We were not given the tools. We were just given instructions and rules, but we were not really given tools how to handle various situations.
Yeah, but what if in my family we always were like brawling and with our mouths always shouting at each other, putting each other down, hurling insults, and I'm used to that. I'm kind of used to that. Well, does it mean others are going to be used to that?
No, because you're going to turn people away.
Yeah,
You're not going to have many friends.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so,
And I was
okay.
thinking that even in the family setting, you could be the one person who stands out and tries to set the example of how not to be like that.
Yeah.
Some of the skills that he teaches, if you were
Yeah.
to apply them,
Yeah. Yeah.
you might be able to start turn the family dynamic so it's more peaceful. Might
Yeah,
not.
and this gets back to whether or not your arrangement, your family or whatever group you're in, is either healthy oriented or
No,
toxic.
that's true.
And so, let's say, well, people are kind of getting out of hand here. I'm blowing this place. I'm out of here. Well, like you said, maybe uh, practicing something like that could, help people see that they need to and that they can straighten out the way they behave. Because again, we don't need to just run away from every group just because there's something that you didn't like. Maybe we can have a good effect on it. People are willing to change at times.
I remember being told years ago that one skill that you can use is when someone is yelling at you, you lower your voice more and more. So they have to stop yelling they want to know what you're saying. They can't hear you. So if you speak softer until they bring their volume level down, now you can have a conversation.
Yeah.
But when you're going at them at the same level, everything's
Yes.
out of control. But when you control yourself, even though you're really heated up and you speak softly, then you might it can have a very positive effect on people because they go, what'd you say? I can't hear you. And you still stay soft with your voice, then you've set a good example of how not to be.
And that's that is a test as to whether or not the situation you're in is going to remain toxic or not.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, I tried. I'm doing what I can. I'm not, joining in their berating, and they just won't. They won't. How do I want to say it? They won't soften their approach at all. I can't work with this. It's not good for me.
So what would you say to Dinah Lost? She's in the chat, and she said, my mother's actions to everyone else seemed like an amazing woman, but her words destroyed me. She was my monster.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in close families, those that sometimes, not all the time, the ones that you're closest to are the ones that hurt you the most.
Right.
And obviously, Dinah's mother has some deep, deep, deep problems, and she's taken them out on Dinah.
There is no justification for stuff like
no,
that.
there is none.
There's also no rational explanation for it.
No.
Where you're going to be satisfied with an explanation. The fact remains that the result is unacceptable.
Right. And you got to realize too, she obviously is not treating other people this way.
Right.
You're right.
But you got to realize the problem is hers. It's not yours. And that takes a maturity to be able to look at the situation and remove yourself from it psychologically and say, this is not my problem. That is her problem.
And this is where, and I mean, every one of us has relations where there's expectations.
Right.
Where one says, but I want my mother to be such and such to me. I need her to be a certain way to me. I want my wife to be a certain way toward me. I want my brother to be a certain way toward me. And he just won't. Well, then you can't want somebody to be someone that you want them to be. I mean, you can, but it's not fair. It's no fairer than if someone were to want you to be what they want of you. It's not respect.
Yeah. Dinah said she wrote her mother a poem because Jane said you should write her a letter. But she said, Dinah said she wrote her a poem.
Yeah. I'm sure that poetry says so much more than just plain words sometimes.
If anyone wants to join us, please go to the top of the chat. There's a link there. Anyone can come on. You don't have to show your face, although it's nice if you do, because Joe and I, we know what each other looks like. We see each other all the time. So if anyone wants to show their face, please do. I understand. If you don't, that's okay too. But
and there's reasons why, and I'm sure some are remaining anonymous or whatever. But understand too that effective communication is visible. It's hard to speak without seeing the subtle facial cues. As you can.
Just something about the chat that we noticed last week, that there was some problems in the chat, and we don't always watch the chat. Joe and I were trying to, monitor this, but we have to be careful what we say in the chat. People take things the wrong way. People's feelings get hurt. But Joe had a really good illustration about laundry.
Yeah, I mean, it goes way back. But when people used to hang their clothes, their wet, clean clothes on a rope line outside their house, and it's a clothesline. Well, everybody got to see everybody's laundry. And apparently it was all clean. I mean, most
You would hope so.
you gotta assume it was all clean, because that's what you do. You clean your clothes and you put them on that clothesline, and boy, they see, wow, that's
Yeah,
one
and
hard working.
And if you use bleach, they'll be white.
That's right. Oh, look how white those are. Mine don't come white like that. These are things that, you grow up with. But at any rate, you get to see each other's personal
Laundry.
things, all sorts of things. The tidy whitey stuff, plus the jeans, plus what you get to see everything.
Yep.
It's visible, and people, they weren't proud. Everybody showed everybody else's. That was just life. Now, with modern communication, like this thing called the chat, well, you're not visible. So it's almost as if you can be another sort of person and kind of get away with something. And it's a tricky game with chats, because if you're not careful, wow, it will be so misunderstood that you'll scratch your head and wish you never ever entered in the chat. Because you didn't see the person, you didn't see their face, they didn't see your face. Your face said something that would have helped them understand, but they don't see your face. They just see your words. Well, what did you say? What did you mean by that? Oh, I didn't mean anything. Well, why did you say that? It's like, oh boy, here we go. That's the chat. That's what these chats are all about.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, the government knows what I just said 10 times more than this, because they know that this is the opportunity for them to learn all about us and how we behave as little human lab rats, because they're designing everything on the internet to use on us as effectively as they can. And it's a tool. For them, it's a tool.
Yeah.
It's a tool.
Gigi, also known as Gail, oftentimes it is a case of misunderstanding what the other person is saying, especially when texting. You can oftentimes misread what the other person is saying. Yeah, just like Joe said, I mean, when we were growing up, we didn't have this thing called texting. We didn't have the internet. What we had to do, if we wanted to connect with someone, we had to call them on the phone. Hopefully, it wasn't a party line where someone else could hear the conversation. You had to either write them a letter, and usually letters were written, so you pretty much could understand what the person was saying. Or you had to go visit them face to face.
Yep.
You either would, see their body language, or on the phone you would hear the inflections. You would hear, oh, that person sounds like they're getting a little upset.
Well,
so you could tell, and you could remedy it then.
Here's a personal example. We lived in I grew up in a two-family house. I and my three sisters and mother and father lived upstairs. My grandmother and grandfather lived downstairs. My grandmother was given to very highly emotional communication.
Like yelling, screaming.
She was a nice lady. She just couldn't control herself. She might very well have been bipolar. Okay? Nice lady, though. Well, my grandfather, unfortunately, really didn't know how to handle it.
He was very mild,
He was
very
docile,
mild.
mild. It's like, what did you marry her for?
He was the sweetest. He was the
Probably
sweetest
because the way she
person you
cooked,
could-
she cooked really well.
Yeah.
Really, really, really well. So that's probably why he married her. At any rate, she would be going off the rails, screaming at him. And I'd be upstairs and I'd hear it and I'd say, oh, no, I think she's losing it for real this time.
I think she's going to kill him. I
So
really do.
so I'd go downstairs. I gotta go see. I'd go downstairs and I'd look and I'd look at her and see it in her eyes. It's like, she's not angry. She's in pain.
Mm.
For whatever reason, it was pain.
She had bad arthritis.
There was all
she
sorts
had
of
all
reasons.
kinds of things.
And
Yeah.
that's the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
So because I could see, if you didn't hear it, you'd think she's a lunatic. She's going to be ready to pick up a knife and hurt him.
Yep.
Well, nothing like that ever happened. But yet, it sounded it. And there were times where I went downstairs just to check. And it's like, what? And I saw her and I said, "It's okay, Graham. It's okay." It's like, and she'd look at me, with a kind of like a relief, as if to be able to, she got it out of her. Oh,
Gigi said that's us Italians.
yeah. Amen. Well, see, it's one thing in your family. That's biology. You were born in it. You didn't choose it. It chose you.
Yeah.
As far as friends go, it's a different story. Friends, we get to choose. And it's okay. It's okay to choose our friends. Ones that we can grow from, ones that we can help, ones that can help us, ones that we can smile with each other about, and helping each other's challenge. That's sacred. That is sacred. That's something to be protected.
Yep.
And that Jefferson is basically just showing how to protect something like that. Because otherwise, you just end up being like a toxic family, and I got to get out of here. This is too abusive for me.
I thought there was another point that he made. I don't know if you caught this, Barb, but some people over apologize. You ever listen to someone, they say, "Oh, I'm sorry. They're always sorry for something.
I'm somewhat guilty of that.
Well, we all are to some
Say
extent.
you're sorry.
I'm sorry, but I'm kind of guilty of that.
How about sorry but not sorry?
Well, he said instead you can say, "Thank you for giving me patience. Thank you for waiting." Rather than, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to keep you waiting. Oh, sorry. Oh, and you're always apologizing. Just thank the person for waiting. Thank the person for
you
being
are one patient person.
Even on the phone when people call, you can do that rather than apologizing all the time, because that does get old.
You'll know when you need to apologize. The person basically will tell you,
Yeah.
"I want an apology from you." Basically, they're for sure they will. There. Annie, you said you watched his whole video a couple times, and there's a lot there. There's a lot in it, wasn't there?
Oh, there is. I wish I could remember everything.
It's highly recommended. It's just so good.
Do you remember the example he gave of the man? He was questioning him. He was a very large man. He said he was very unusually large man. And he said made him look like he was deficient physically in every way. And he was just getting more and more angry. And he was at the time, he was just asking him simple questions like, where do you live and what did you do? And that's just simple questions. And every question he asked, he got more and more angry. So he stopped and he asked him, "So why, how do you word it? What am I missing?" He says, "What am I missing?
What am I missing?"
So what's happening in your life right now?" Well, kind of find out this very angry man didn't like lawyers because he had just had to put his mother into a nursing home. He was the only one there to take care of her.
Yes.
And he had gotten so many calls from lawyers about the real estate. And I mean, he didn't go into detail about this, but he said, "You lawyers are the worst thing that's ever hit our government." And so he Jefferson was able to explain to him, break down what was actually transpiring here. And he said at the end of it, the man even hugged him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
he said
remember that.
what he was really looking at was not an angry man, but a worried son,
Yeah.
Yeah.
worried about his mother.
Yeah. So the key words that Jefferson used is, what am I missing?
Yeah.
Yeah. What am I missing?
What am I missing? Yeah.
Yeah, because usually there's tremendous frustration when people are trying to talk with each other. Someone's really frustrated, and you don't know why.
Right.
You don't even know why, and they don't even at that point they don't clearly tell you. So at least if you ask, like, well, look, what am I missing? Is there something? Let's get to the bottom of this. Communication is sacred, and I tell you why it's sacred, because animals don't communicate. I mean, they don't speak. They may communicate. I'll tell you why it's sacred. Hello.
Hello, Nancy.
I mean, they don't speak.
We can hear you if you put your microphone on.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes, we
can.
can hear you.
We can hear you if you put your microphone on.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Okay, so Nancy must have a background. Close your YouTube, Nancy, because we're just picking up an echo from your speaker. Or from.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, very well.
Very well.
I can't hear you though.
From your
Okay.
speaker.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Very well.
I can't hear you though.
Oh, you have to turn off one of your devices. You have to turn off YouTube.
I hear myself talking, but I don't hear anybody else.
Okay, how about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, make sure.
Talking, but I don't hear anybody else.
Okay, how about now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Make sure.
Talking, but I don't hear anybody else.
Okay, how about now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh.
Headphones, if you have headphones, that will help get rid of the echo. But you're listening through, I think, YouTube, which is why you have such a delay.
So the key is to turn off the YouTube, but just come in on the StreamYard.
On the link.
The link.
Yeah.
Keep trying.
Go ahead, Nancy.
Well, there's no echo, but there's no Nancy.
Do you know what's happening, Shauna?
But there's no Nancy. I think sometimes, Nancy is there. When we watch on YouTube and you click that link at the top, it opens up a new window, which brings you into StreamYard. So you actually have to close that YouTube because that audio will always be in the background causing that echo. So I know I wear a headset and that's how I don't pick up my own, like, when you guys are talking. So, yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
No, I'm watching on YouTube and I don't have any problem.
No, but you must have your sound off on YouTube then.
So I'm watching on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. So Nancy, we're just picking up here. The other option is, Nancy, you can just mute yourself when you're listening, and when you're ready to talk, just unmute yourself. We can try that too.
Okay, try to come on again, Nancy. Just you just have to turn down your volume on your YouTube. Otherwise, you're going to hear that. What's it called?
Reverb?
Yeah, reverb or the
echo?
Echo, yeah. Just want to welcome some folks into the chat. There's Willie B 933. Welcome. And Byron Malloy. Byron sounds new. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, Byron.
Also, we see Jay just came on. Thank you, Jay, for joining us.
Is his birthday today?
Not Jay.
Oh.
No, today is Wild Walls.
Oh, well, for sure.
Yeah. Kate B, thank you for joining us. And let's see, got a nice chat going on. Very supportive of everyone. And Nancy, yeah, do try. She says, I'm sorry, I do not know what I'm doing. LOL. So just for everyone, we'll go through this. So you see in the chat, there's the Fixing My Faith. You tap on that and that brings you into the studio. So when you're on the StreamYard, you can either turn off your YouTube or turn down the volume and we won't get that echo. It's not, just keep trying. It's not that hard. Just keep trying. And Debbie, hi Debbie. Debbie's with us. Nancy, when you click on the StreamYard link, watch through it. Then you can either pause the YouTube version or close it out so there won't be an echo. And it looks like Thrifty Treasure is with us. I think someone responded to Thrifty. We already went through the birthdays. We didn't have any anniversaries for April, so if anyone knows of an anniversary, let us know. And that's all in ExJWFriends. So all the meetups, the birthdays, the anniversaries, they're all in the website ExJWFriends.com. So please check it out. Also, the Discord is there. Kate is wondering, Debbie, are you out of the hospital? How did it go? Everyone's saying hello to Debbie. Nice to see everyone. So if anyone wants to come on, we're talking about relationships, how to improve our communication, how to be more confident when we speak.
Or about anything else you want to bring up.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to get some more water. We're here, Annie.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to think of some of the other things in that video. Communicate more and say less, I think was one phrase he used, something like that. Do you remember, Joe? Communicate more and say less.
I'm trying to recall. I got to look at it again.
Yeah, it was something like that. And his point was, choose your words carefully.
Yeah. I do know that there's another site that I saw and says, if you use many words, you're gonna. If you use too many words, you're gonna end up lying.
Yeah.
That's
Remember,
how you know.
said, another one he said was, if you argue with a fool, no one will be able to tell the difference, or something like that. Not quite like that, but if you argue with a fool,
you'll make it clear.
Thank you, Nancy. Nancy said our anniversary is April 20th, Bob and I. Thank you for letting us know. Okay.
Was there any recent developments that anyone is aware of that you feel people should know about with the witnesses?
Trying to think if we've heard anything new. One of our PMO friends said they made an announcement last night because, the CO was in town. And after the CO's visit, they give all the appointed new ministerial servants and the new elders. I think he said, was it six new ministerial servants and a new elder. And they're just trying to get as many as they can. And there was a full house in the Kingdom Hall because the CO was there. But of course, it's all for show. And all these males that are appointed, they're all, looking for the notoriety, the what do they call it? The position,
Prestige.
Yeah.
And do you remember they are using 18-year-olds for ministerial servants now, and even
Yeah.
I think they have to be 18, but yeah, it's so young because they take these ministerial servants on shepherding calls, if they even do shepherding calls anymore. I'm not even sure if they do, but they used to at least. And some of those calls are rather personal, and for an 18-year-old to, well, I don't know. It could be uncomfortable, especially if it's a marriage problem, and an 18-year-old sitting there.
Any one of these changes that they're doing can really result in a worse circumstance for them than they ever imagined. They're making these changes because they're desperate, and desperate changes aren't always very intelligent. So we're watching everything we're doing. We're watching them fall apart. Whether or not they go out of existence is another story. But they're never, ever, ever going to be what they claim to be, or what they were before. Never.
Yeah, that's true.
They're never going to be. It's all over. It really is all over. They're just trying to protect their money right now, and they've got apparently they have a lot of money to protect.
We want to give a shout out to Missy Llewellyn. Hello, everyone. Thanks for the welcoming and kind words. Yes, Missy is new. And we spoke with her. She's down in Georgia.
Yep.
And she's related to Sparky Slag.
Slag.
Right? Yeah,
Slag.
yeah.
Yep.
Sparky Slag. I can't talk. And we want to welcome Gail. Gigi, how are you tonight?
I have the flu, so I'm not going to stay on long, but I wanted to know if somebody knew this. I got invited to the memorial as well. I know somebody in the chat did too. This is on the 12th, but the actual one is on the 20th. Does anybody know why? They did this last year too. They didn't have it at the right time. Does anybody know why?
Yeah, I saw, I don't know if I ever saw a reason, but it's like way off. Normally it's around.
Yeah, it's pretty off.
Yeah, normally it's around the time of the Passover, right? And the
Yep.
full moon. But they're like a week off or something. Because I don't know if anyone has.
It had to do with the Jewish calendar. I did a lot of research on this last year. Now I can't remember all the research I did, but it had to do with a Jewish calendar, and that they have from time to time they have to play like catch up because it was a lunar calendar. And man, I wish I could remember it all. After I did a lot of research, I could understand why there was a difference.
Well, they've always been pretty spot on.
I know. It's interesting that suddenly it's different. And I was really, really concerned about it myself last year. Now here again, see, I didn't realize it was again, because I haven't been paying attention, that it was also again this year. Now that is unusual because here we are in a second year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're becoming more and more apostate.
That's not, I was thinking that myself too. Also, I just wanted to tell you what's been happening is with the witnesses. The head, I don't know, they don't call him presiding overseers anymore. I forgot what the head one's called. He's texted and emailed me 3 times to download some app, and I am not going to do it, but they won't let up. It's an application that you download so you can report your time. You can see what meetings are being held and any events going on. And they bugged me 3 times to download it. Yeah. But I'm not even responding.
Yeah, how long have you been out?
Since December of the end of December in 2023.
Okay. So
they still contact me. One of the elders calls me up every 3 months. I don't know why. He knows I don't attend.
I've only gotten 1 call. I've been out probably 5 years now, and I've only gotten 1 call from an elder asking at the beginning of the year, asked me if I would be home and they would like to stop by. And I just said, well, thank you. I really appreciate your interest in me, but I'm going to say no. So he didn't know what to do with that. And he just said, oh, okay, bye.
He wasn't
I
expecting
think,
no.
Gail, I think they've got to comply, just to let the other head elders know that they tried.
Yeah.
That's what. And the CO, they want to be able to tell the CO, oh yeah, we're working hard, trying to contact the friends. Oh yeah.
Jane Spitfire said they're probably trying to track you. You know, if you go on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they absolutely does.
Right.
Well, yeah, because it's on my laptop. They want me to download on my phone, which I'm not doing it.
No, my
No.
goodness, no.
Probably can tap into it.
So
Well, hope you feel better, Gail.
yeah, I'm
Sorry.
actually going to say goodnight to everybody because I have to go lay down.
Yes, we
Take care of
understand.
yourself.
All right,
Yeah.
good night, everybody. It was a good
Okay,
show.
love you.
Good night.
Yeah.
Love you too. Thanks, everyone. Good night.
You're
Good night.
welcome. Good night. So San Diego said I had one elder call me inviting me to lunch. I know what their motive is. Yeah, they just want to bring you back in. They want to see what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, gee, I feel left out. That they're not trying to get me back.
I can give them a call. I can let them. I give them a call.
Oh
and
yeah,
let 'em know.
let 'em know I'm lonely over here.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, Wild Wall says Niacin 14 does fall on April 12th this year. Huh. Oh, they always have their reasons. But
Who does that help?
I don't know.
So who benefits? Who of all their efforts? What does anyone benefit? Does anyone benefit from any of their efforts? Hello, Ruby.
Hi, Ruby.
Hey, Joe and Fran, how's it going?
Hi,
Good.
Ruby.
Good.
Ruby, tell me, did I hear an AI voice of yours?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was a whole mess. I was so frustrated today. I was getting so many comments about that, and I didn't know what they were talking about. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to watch my own video to see what the heck these people are talking about. And when I click on it, it is an AI woman's voice over my video. And I'm like, I know I didn't do that. So I went into the studio and I found out that YouTube automatically did a auto dubbed my video.
Really?
Wow. You're
Yes.
blessed.
So
You're
I had to
honored.
delete the video and re-upload it.
Ooh. Wow.
Can they
Huh.
do that? Is that legal, even?
Yeah, it's like a new feature. So if you don't check the boxes very carefully when you're uploading, you'll miss it. So I didn't know that I had it on, and I had to take it off and then re-upload my video. So I had to like let everybody know that that was not intentional. I did not know that that was happening. So I fixed it, and then I uploaded, I continued to upload regardless.
So Ruby, did that AI say what you said? It was just a different voice, or did they
Yeah,
put different
exactly. That's the
words?
thing. It wasn't word for word. So it was like when they translate from a
Right.
different language to a different language.
Mhm.
So it was taking my words and then changing them, which is weird. So anyways, I got it fixed and I re-uploaded it.
That's good. Because as soon as I
Yeah.
heard it,
That's concerning,
I
though.
said,
That they
I'm
can
not
do that.
listening to this.
I know.
I know. And then people in the comments were like, oh, this is lazy. You shouldn't be doing this. I'm not going to support this channel if it's like this. And I'm like, what the heck?
Shame on you.
Yeah, so I got that done.
Yeah.
Was there something else you wanted to mention?
Oh, yeah, about your topic. So I hear a little feedback. I don't know if that's Annie or you guys. I'm not sure,
Please
but
share.
okay, so your topic was toxic family versus sacred friendships, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I got a couple of problems with this. Well, number one, I don't really have a family anymore, right? So all of us can relate to that. But not only your family can be toxic, friends can become toxic too. So I don't really trust anybody. I don't want to waste my time with people who are going to become toxic.
So Ruby,
You're
how
just going to stick with pets and animals? Well, what are you going to do?
Ruby, how can you tell when someone is not your friend?
So I guess I'm still struggling with this because I don't think that I've ever had a real friendship to begin with. The only friendship that I ever had was like a childhood friend, and we were friends from the time we were 10 years old up until 17 when I moved away. So if a 7-year friendship can go down the drain overnight, then what can I expect from somebody off the street? You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm not gonna waste my time or energy on something else. So that's one problem, right?
Right.
Well, you just said an interesting word that I picked up on. You said expect.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you go with that?
Well, everybody and everything expects something of you, or you expect something of them.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna be here or there if I'm not expecting to get something out of that.
No. Okay. Fair enough.
So you present your value and they should be adding value to you, vice versa.
Right. No, I know I go over this all the time myself, and I mean I even go out of my way to say, I'm here to inspire you, and I look to you to inspire me as well. And honestly, I kind of use something like that as a standard for friendship.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, something we can give each other, something we can provide for each other that the other needs. So I hear you.
Jay made a good point. He said it takes time to make real friends.
So that's another issue for me personally, is especially how you guys described the internet. We are in the generation of the internet.
Right.
And I also feel as if, coming from somebody else's perspective, that just because you know my name or you know my online persona or you talk to me online, that doesn't necessarily mean we're friends.
Mm-hmm.
We're just mutuals at best. You know, we're just acquaintances because we've never met in real life. So how can you call yourself, or how can I call you a friend?
So in other words, they're expecting you to be a friend.
Right.
Just because they know you.
Right.
They take that they're taking it for granted.
Hi, Shauna. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I think that Ruby's hit on a few good points, but kind of the opposite. Like, people will have expectations of you, and you can have expectations of people, but I think that's where a lot of disappointment comes in, because I might be expecting something out of you, and I am now disappointed when you don't do this thing. Yeah. But you don't have to accept my expectations, number one, because that's my issue. They're my expectations. Nor do I have to accept yours. There are times, like if you sign up for a job or something like that, there are expectations. And if you don't meet them, then yes, you could lose your job.
Right.
But putting that on personal people, and, and then you made a comment about friends. And I do agree with that, because I read a long time ago that during the course of our life, we're only going to have like maybe 2 or 3 close friends, true friends.
That's exactly
Everybody
what I
else, yeah.
Yeah.
They say
Everybody
you know
else
who
is
you.
an acquaintance. Yeah.
They say that you know who your friends are when you die.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, and that's just the way it is. We like to get in these big groups, you know, where we think that we're 12 people or whatever. But you watch in the end, those groups end up breaking down to little 3s or 4s
Oh,
of
they
people
always
that
happen.
truly get along, you
See,
know.
here's the trick, so to speak, the expectation. Oh, you're public. Oh, you're accessible. Oh, you're there for me. Oh, you're everything that I want you to be. Oh, you will be because you want my acceptance. Oh, good. And it's, I mean, see, we basically, if we put ourselves out there like that, people will try to use us that way. They'll try.
Ruby, you do have friends who are physically near you, right? The actual people, not just online people. I hope you have friends who are you have physical contact with them.
Well, that's the thing. I don't call them friends. That's why I wanted to hop on here, because I don't think you should call people just because you see them in person a friend either. So, and this is just a personal issue. In my opinion, I think if I am in physical contact with somebody, they are also an acquaintance for a very long time. Like, just because we go to church together, or just because our kids hang out, or just because we meet on more than one occasion, doesn't mean you're my friend. Like, I have a problem with the word friend.
How would you define friend?
So now that I'm, awake, and I'm not, a witness anymore, and I am protecting my space and my energy and my spirit and my mental health, I would consider a friend someone that you go through thick and thin, almost like a marriage. So you would have to be that close to me for me to start considering you as a friend. And even my own spouse, I don't consider that a friend either. That's like a different ball game for me. So it's very, very hard for me to consider somebody a friend.
So you still have to be able to develop relationships if you're ever going to get to the point of having a friend. You have to learn how to develop relationships with people, humans like yourself, if you're ever going to be able to have a friend, even one friend.
Right. Well, that's why I don't have any friends, and I haven't had one in 10 years. And even the friends that I thought I did have, it was all conditional. Okay, so now that
I'm sorry.
I think, like, just as a worldly person here, I think that is one of the most crazy things that org has done, and they've done it brilliantly, is to label everybody as a brother and a sister because of family expectations.
And we're all friends.
Exactly. Like, number one, no, you're family. And I know I've spoken to a lot of you personally, and I've seen tons of comments. You know that nobody can mess you up or screw you over like your family has the ability to.
Right.
You have a mother, and you expect her to love you and to care about you, and she doesn't, because she's off doing these expectations for the org. So you have nothing but disappointment, right? Because you're not getting what that is. I think really the trick of this is, it's like what I've told my girlfriends coming out of a bad relationship. You know, they're in a relationship for decades, and then all of a sudden that breaks up. The trick is learning to trust again after you have been messed up, like that you have been hurt. The trick is to find a friend when you've never had one. But these things don't happen overnight. Like, friends, true friends, are people that you cannot see for 10 years, get back together, and it's like you haven't missed a beat. But you've spent 10 or 20 years of being there for each other and sharing and loving each other unconditionally, even if they hurt you or whatever, or they say those insensitive things, they're worth the work. So really decide who are the people that are worth investing that time and that energy into, and they're going to disappoint you. because if you want to love fully, you're going to get hurt, right? You can't have it all without opening up to it all. But as we get older, we develop these tools and these capabilities to deal with this stuff better. So we're not so afraid to try making a new friend or whatever, just my opinion. So, but good luck. It's if any one of us knew the answer, we'd be rich.
But you said, Sean, you said a lot of very valid things, though. And I was thinking too, Ruby, what about your children? Are you helping your children to be able to develop friends?
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why I started going to this parish, and I've talked to Joe and Fran long time ago about this. Is because I know that for them, I got to put myself out there so that they have the opportunity, because they don't have the trauma that I have. So I'm not going to hold them back. But for me personally, those things don't exist. Family, friends, love, trust, all of those things don't exist for me in my mind. Like, I know it can be there. I know it's possible, and I'm open-minded to that. But mentally, in the back of my head, I have a little voice that says, they don't really love you. They don't really care about you. Nobody in this world actually cares about you. Only you. You're the one who's going to care about you, because you're the one who knows how you feel.
Yeah.
And in the end, you will bring yourself out of this, because it's all depending on you. And I guess that's just what everybody has to go through and find out for themselves.
Have you got any counseling to help you with this?
So, okay.
I'm sorry. I'm very sorry, Ruby. You've been hurt so bad. I really am. I can feel your pain. I'm very sorry for that.
I don't think it's painful, though. It's like a coping mechanism, but it's not necessarily a bad thing, in my opinion. I've kind of turned the negative connotation to that into a positive one, as in terms of, I am stronger now. I have confidence now. I am sure of myself now. I am not codependent anymore. So I've turned those things into a positive thing. But when I think about therapy, to me, it makes me giggle. Like, I don't want to, okay, it might sound insensitive, but I don't think therapy is a good avenue for me, because what you're doing in a therapy session is just venting all of those negativity things. And then you're gonna, in my mind, I feel like you're gonna end up in the same ditch you were to begin with, because you're bringing up all this old dirty laundry.
Yeah, but a good therapist, the Q being good, knows how to help you to face your feelings, your fears, and process them and start to reconstruct. I mean, I'm not telling you what to do, of course, but the sad thing is you're missing out on the experience of being a human. And don't take offense to that. But seriously, don't take offense to that.
No, that was funny, actually, because I've been told this, and I understand where people come from when they say that. But in my opinion, I am like, I have been the strongest I've ever been without family and without friends. It's because I had to learn how to pull myself out of that codependency and become truly independent, so that I can reach my goals, my dreams, whatever, because I don't have no baggage. I don't have nobody holding me back, and I can move fast. I can fast forward.
And that's very good that you're strong. You need to be strong in this world. But it would be nice. It would be nice if you could balance that with also being able to be vulnerable too, which is probably going to take a lot of time, because it sounds like, and I'm no therapist, don't get me wrong, this sounds like you may be suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome or dysfunction. I forget what the word is now that they use. Yeah, and that's debilitating.
Yeah, there's a saying, and you know it, a friend in need is a friend indeed.
Yeah.
And usually you learn friendship when you discover that there's someone else who needs something desperately from you. That person needs a friend, and boy, and I'm in a position to give it.
Are you able to be a friend, Ruby? Do you feel you're able to be a friend to someone else?
I think I'm capable of it. Now, whether or not I actually do it or decide to do it, I think that's my issue. Is because when you're at that point when you're going to decide, okay, am I going to be a quote unquote friend to this person?
Ruby,
Am I going to do it?
Do you feel like there's a requirement for it? In other words, are you required for this?
No.
You act like it's required of you.
No, I think it's the other way around. For me, it's more like I don't really have to, so why do it?
No, well, see, you just showed it. It sounds like there's some pressure on you to do it. You asked the question, why do it? It's as if someone tells you, do it, do it, do it. You sound like there's some pressure on you for it. And
I just don't want to put myself in that position to be asked of anything from anyone.
You don't want to be.
So I wouldn't get too close to someone because there's no strings, like no strings attached, no obligation. It's still that nice, polite hello and goodbye.
Huh.
Would you want your children to grow up like that? Because you do realize that children copy more what they see in you.
If your child was in a position of needing that, how would you feel if they didn't receive it?
Sparky slab.
That's a good point. I haven't thought about that because I kind of teach that verbally.
It's great. You got to show it.
And then eventually your children, if they are going to a church and having contact, they're making friends, right?
Right.
So someday one of those friends is going to hurt them. Now you're going to be faced with, see, this is why I don't make friends.
Yeah.
See? But otherwise, but the healthy thing is they're going to need their mom to help them to see that you're still okay. There's other people you're going to make friends with, and help them to have a healthy approach to that. Because otherwise they get shut down and build walls around themselves and end up going through life the way that you have. And I mean, maybe you have to decide whether you want that for your children or not. Because I know you love your kids. I've heard you speak about your children. And so your example is in front of them every day and how you react to things. So they're out in the world. They're going to make friends, and some friends are going to do them dirt. And others, they may have a very good friend that they will have years and years. So.
Right. But I think there's one difference.
Okay.
Is that I feel like this towards people who are not my family. For example, like King Tony is my cousin, right? She's my blood cousin.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only person that I have communication with, like deeply,
Mm-hmm.
as you would with a friend, right? Because she's more of like a sister, a cousin.
Mm-hmm. And that's good.
Right. So I would say King Tony, I would waste my time for, because it's worth it. She's my family. She's a part of me. Versus somebody on the street, an outsider, somebody who's not my family, who's not related to me. I wouldn't think twice. I wouldn't blink twice. I would just remove myself if I had to. And that's it. Let the other person make the decision whether or not they want to make the sacrifice or spend the extra time and, communicate that. But I'm not going to go out of my way and waste my time, my energy, and exhaust my spirit over somebody who I'm not even related to. So I think that's...
You weren't finished. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that's the difference, is that I would value someone like King Tony or my dad over somebody I just met yesterday.
Well,
I was just going to comment that it's interesting that you use the word waste my time instead of invest my time.
Good point.
Ruby, I'm just listening to you, and it sounds like you've been hurt by a lot of people. And when you're hurt by a lot of people, your trust for them is diminished. So it sounds like, now don't get me wrong and don't take this the wrong way. You're still young. You're a young mother compared to Annie and us. We're older. You have time, to change these things and to develop. But I understand you've got your dad, you've got Tony. They're the ones that are there for you. They've got your back. And, acquaintances aren't always going to be there for you. So I understand. So, give yourself time. Don't feel pressured. Joe said, sounds like you feel pressured to have friends. But I just want to welcome, I think it's Sparky Slag's sister. We see something on the screen, but did you want to say something, Missy?
It's not Missy, it's Sparky.
It is Sparky. Because I'm on the.
You don't sound like Missy, Sparky.
I'm on the phone with Missy, trying to get Missy to come on, and I thought she was using your name. Sorry. Oh, hi, Sparky.
No. I love you, Joe and Fran.
I love
we
you,
love you
Sparky.
too.
Hello, Ruby. Hello, Ruby. You still there, Ruby?
Yes, I'm here. How's it going?
It's going great. I understand what you're saying. I had a friend that I lost after 25 years. We were best friends. He's still alive. He's still in the organization. We were best friends. We talked every day. And when I woke up, he begged me and cried for me not to leave the organization. And we had a great friendship. We were as thick as thieves. We had a great time together. But I learned a valuable lesson from the lesson that he taught me in making friendships. And I live by it now. When I meet somebody and I like them, I present myself to them as my true character. I put it all out on the line. I'm an honest person. But I know down the road, people that you meet will hurt your feelings and break your heart. But I'm not going to be that person. I'm going to be a better friend than they are.
See,
And I know friendship comes with risk.
Mm-hmm.
But my friendships do not get dissolved on my part. It's their part.
Right. Right.
I love unconditionally.
You got some nice friends too, Sparky, because we've met them in person. And
friends. And they're not witnesses. And they're not witnesses.
No, they're not witnesses.
No.
They're not ex-witnesses.
No.
They're just people. And, you've got such a nice relationship with them.
Well, I got my thumb over my camera right now.
Okay.
And Joe and Fran, you done called me out. You said my sister's name and then said Sparky Slag is a relative of hers. So I have no choice but to come out.
That's all you needed. It worked. It worked.
Hey, I'll call you later and cuss you both out and send you a gift, okay?
All right.
No, I'm kidding.
She's trying to get on, and I'm trying to walk her through it. So when I saw Sparky Slag, I thought, oh, maybe she's using your name. But,
No. I had the notification under Joe and Fran, and no comments, no nothing. Fix and it was just a YouTuber, not y'all.
I think it's just his mic. Well, thank you, Sparky.
Yeah.
It was so good. Thank you for coming on.
Your music to my ears, Sparky.
And we want to welcome Fallen Ashes. Fallen, hi, how are
Hello, hey.
you? Nice for you to come on. Thank you.
Yeah, I was just at a friend's house earlier.
Okay.
Ash, 1 second. I want to listen to you, but I just want to respond to in reference to Sparky and to Ruby. Ruby, I don't let others define my friendship.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, I'm going to be a friend if I want to be a friend, and I really don't expect something from them in return. It's how I want to know myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about me. I don't know how to say it any other way. It's the me I want to be to someone else, because I'm going to go to bed with me at night. That's the person I'm going to be left with.
Wow.
That's
we
just
get
what I
to
have
see
say.
the real Sparky.
Hello, Sparky.
Man, you
I don't know
are.
what happened to the phone, but anyway, something got messed up.
Okay. Well, this is Sparky Slag, everyone.
Hey.
Hello.
And
Could
Ash.
I just make one more comment to Ruby? Are you there, Ruby?
Yes, hello.
Hi. I know. How many children do you have?
3.
3 children. I have 1. So I can speak from experience on this. It was a big risk for you to have children. And I say that because children can be the greatest joy. They can be the greatest heartache. But you did it anyway. You have 3 children. And I hope that they turn out beautiful and you're very happy with them. But the fact is, it's a risk. Everything in life is a risk. But you did it. And I'm sure you loved your children, and you're doing, I know from I've listened to you in the past, you're working very, very hard in raising them. But they may hurt you one day. That's the fact. It's just life. Okay?
Yeah, no, I get that. I think because of them, I had to move out of those convert zones and become better intentionally on purpose, because I had to. But when I sit by myself, I'm like, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be doing half of the things I'm doing. Because I am such an isolationist, homebody, like introvert. I don't really care about people. And I know that sounds insensitive or whatever, but it's so true for me. Like, I care less about anybody else. And the phone is laughing.
I'm laughing.
No, you giggled. That was funny. No, but it's true. It's true. And I think it's because of the ExJW, trauma that we've had to learn not to care so that it doesn't hurt us. Like I said, it's a coping mechanism. So you got to get out of that to start, trusting and yada, yada. It's a whole thing. But with me, I'm kind of like, I like how Annie said that I say waste of time instead of invest, because I've never had to actually think about that before. I never used to talk to people or go outside my house. So now that I'm actually doing it, now I'm thinking in those terms now. And then from here on, forward, I think it's going to take time to do that in real life. But that's why I joined the ExJW community, 10 years ago on the internet, because I used to think that people in this community would understand me more than anybody else, right? And I still feel that way. But sometimes along the way, I come into different encounters and I get the vibe as if they don't understand where I'm coming from, which is confusing to me, because I'm like, well, you understand because you can relate to the same traumas. So why would you not understand this particular issue or the reasoning behind one of us or, a group of people doing something and you take it the wrong way? That's my thing. It's like, oh, okay, maybe not everybody's on the same page. And that's another thing we have to learn.
Yeah, well, their trauma is different than your trauma, most likely.
Yeah.
Not everyone has the same trauma. And
I'm
so,
sorry, worldly person butting in here. I think that one of the big problems too is we think that people think like us, right? Like, oh, he would do this because that's what we would do, right? Like a lot of our assumptions are based on how we would react. So we look for the same behavior. But we are all different, wonderful, messed up people. And we all have different needs and abilities and whatever. So, you know, it's I just wish there was one right answer. Like I said, we would be rich, but all we do is we keep getting together and we talk about it and look at where we are now, right? As a group, there's so many more, so many of us are stronger now, and we've gone off on our own, and it's a beautiful thing. You know, that's why I come back week after week doing the same thing. It's worth it. Friends or not, some things are worth it. Some people are worth that time. So,
right.
So.
I'd like to say something. So, like, with what Ruby was saying, like, I have come to, like, love solitude and appreciate solitude. Just interacting with other people, new people, it's a lot. It takes a lot of energy. You never know if this is really somebody I could trust. You know, it takes a lot of energy. It's just a lot of energy in general. So it's like I can definitely understand Ruby, where she's coming from. I just came into the chat at 9 p.m. I know it's like 9:29 now, but I'm gonna be going to my first therapy appointment tomorrow. I've never been to therapy like ever in my life. So I'm doing this to heal more and to express some things that I feel like I need to express that I really can't express to my own father or my own mother. So it's like, I don't think I'm going to be in therapy for a long time. I mean, I feel like therapy is just there to like do it until it's like school. I feel like you go to it and then you graduate kind of thing.
That's right.
That's right.
Right.
Ash, I got to say, a therapist is someone who works themselves out of a job.
That's true.
In other words, don't get used to me. You know, I'm going to show you things you don't know. I'm going to help you sort out things that you know, and you're going to go on your way. That's what a therapist does. A good therapist doesn't want to see you too many times.
I'm so happy for you. And just a side note, Fallen Ashes just started a cooking YouTube channel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I still haven't posted it yet, but I did post it on Instagram.
Okay, going.
Wow,
And,
Fallen.
Oh, we lost
Thanks,
Sparky. Sparky, come back. We weren't ignoring you. We just wanted to hear what you had to say.
That's amazing, Fallen. You got to become a Sazon sister now, because me and King Tony do our cooking series too, and we call ourselves Sazon sisters.
Sazon. That sounds like a spice.
It is. It's a Hispanic brand.
Sparky's back.
Yo,
Did you want to say something, Sparky, to anybody or anything?
Yeah, I don't know why my phone keeps cutting in and out, but I've worked 16 hours a day, and I really need to go to bed. But I'm gonna hang out with y'all a little bit longer.
Oh wow!
But something came to my mind a minute ago about when people offend me, instead of being offended, or they say something that could potentially offend me, instead of jumping to conclusions, have a little bit of wisdom and ask yourself, what has gone wrong in this person's life today, or the last month, last few years, their lifetime, whatever. Look beyond their words.
Usually a signal.
Give them a little bit of extra consideration.
True. It's usually a signal. Yeah.
And be a friend. And sometimes you have to be the first one that is the friend.
Yeah.
And then if they respond in a positive way, then you've got a friendship that's worth saving.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to take a lot of abuse in friendship. It's there is no perfect friendship. You got to be able to laugh and to make fun of each other. Like in a marriage, my wife and I, we cut up. We've been married 31 years, and in May, and it's not been a great ride the whole time. But I can say right now, I don't go to the meetings anymore. I hadn't been in 6 years. My wife still goes. But our marriage is solid and we are best friends. And I love that woman more than she knows. And I know she loves me more than I know.
Mm-hmm.
And we stuck it. We stuck it out when our friends abandoned us. And Ruby, my wife, is a very intelligent woman, and she's very similar to you. She does not make friends easily.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, when I first married her, because of the Watchtower doctrine, I didn't know how to fit in with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I had people in the congregation that were jealous of my talents, and it was forbidden to have friendships with worldly people.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know how to interact with people. And then when I started growing and got away from the Watchtower organization, and I started making friends with people outside the world, outside the organization, in the world, my neighbors, just whoever, and I came in contact with. And my motto was, when I talk to anybody, and this is very important, my goal became, when I meet somebody and talk to them, I want to leave them feeling like, I like that person. They're that's a nice guy. And I would like to have him for a friend. So I quit being combative. I quit fighting over the minor issues. And I transformed myself into being a soothing person to the best of my ability. Sometimes I'm not, but to the best of my ability. I thought, you know what? When I hang up the phone or I leave this person, I want them to say, I'm glad I got to meet Sparky Slag.
You're right.
And
But,
I can't wait to see him again.
uh-huh. I have a comment to your comment just now. I think that's the problem with me, is because I don't care about their impression of me.
Mhm.
That's number one. Then number two is, I know I am not emotionally available to be a friend. So I never would put myself too far out so that somebody would say, oh yeah, she's my friend. Like, no, what? I'm not your friend. Like, I will be so quick to let somebody know, or to keep the interaction very short, is because I'm here for a reason. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be here or talking to you if there wasn't a reason for that.
So Ruby, you and I are talking right now for a reason.
Yes.
You are young. I'm older. Come talk to me in 20 years.
Yeah, I know. I have a lot to learn and a lot to heal from.
Ruby, you're exploring. You are.
But
exploring.
you are a precious woman, Ruby.
Thank you.
But give it time. It took me time.
I agree with that we don't need anyone's validation. At the end of the day, we're all going to have ourselves, I mean, we're all, I think about the People Ask book when they talked about how to be a friend. Like, I would study that a lot. Huh?
Oh Lord. That book haunts me.
The Young People Ask book, I would study that a lot, and because I wanted friends, I wanted to widen out. It was really hard not to be able to be friends in school. So it was like, all right, well, I guess I can widen out in the congregations and conventions. And one thing that caught my eye was, smelling good, looking good. The scripture that talks about Jonathan and David, a true friend is there for you at all times and is born for times of distress. Like those scriptures meant a lot to me, and they still do. I still believe that, you know, we have to love our neighbor as we love ourselves, you know. But I also need my time to myself. I'm an ambivert. I like to be an extrovert.
We all do. Every one of us
Yeah.
do.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know who's speaking now, but to talk to you and Ruby, it's not about friendship. I did something a little bit different. You know how many hours we put out in service that we wasted our time? If we had gotten paid for it, we'd had money in the bank.
Word.
I applied that to my business.
Yeah.
And I didn't. I do a lot of business with a lot of people, and I call them friends. They're probably not my friends, but I make a lot of money off of them. So use it to your advantage. But at the end of the day, when you promise somebody that you're going to do something, do it. Back it up. Your honor and your name is all you have.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be isolated, then be isolated. If you want to be in the social circle to a limited degree or to a great degree, it's your choice. But I have made great contacts, and I have been rewarded handsomely.
Mm-hmm.
And the elders that I've had many run-ins with, while they were going to their elders meetings and non-shepherding meetings, because they never do it, and going to the Kingdom Hall and doing their parts, I said, I'm not going to participate in that anymore. I'm going to use my talents to help people that I come in contact with, encourage them, but I'm going to make money in a successful way. I met this young man the other day. He's been in group homes his whole life. Wow. And his air conditioning repairman that came to my house, and he had this young boy. He's 18 years old, 6'2", 140 pounds, skin and bones.
Wow.
And my wife asked both of the guys, the technician, the owner of the business, and this young man, if they were hungry. And the owner of the business said, no, I'm not hungry. But the little boy had that look like, oh God, please feed me. And my wife brought him down to my shop where I'm at right now and gave that boy a bowl of chili. I told her a big bowl of chili, and she did. And I asked him, I said, how many cheese toasts do you want with that? 1, 2? He said, 4. I said 4. He said 2 will be fine. I told her, I said, bring him 4. And I sat here and watched him just ravenously eat that. And I looked at her, I said, go to the house, get all my snacks, everything I have stashed away in the house to eat, and bring it down here. And the rest of that chili that's left, put it in a to-go thing for him. And we're going to feed that boy, and I'm going to get his number. So she did. And like I said, she's a witness. I'm not. Well, I just faded, but I'm waiting on them to come look my number up because I'm planning a lawsuit.
Wow.
But my wife and I took that young man and just spent the afternoon with him Sunday before last, and took him to a fine meal. And on the way back, I saw his boots was worn out, his work boots, and I bought him a new pair of boots.
Wow.
Nice.
That is how you make friends. You do good by charity, not by putting hours on. I did this much in service. I'm a pioneer. Look at me. You take care of care of those that need the help. Because if you see somebody in need and you don't do it,
that's right.
You're a hypocrite.
That's beautiful.
You're a good man, Sparky.
That's beautiful, Sparky.
Yeah.
but I try to be. And my wife says I am, but all my coworkers say I ain't gonna say the words. But anyway, Joe, you finally got my face out there.
Yeah, I know. Yay.
But I wanted to say something too about what you were saying about like helping out. Because I thought to myself too that, I see the homeless, right? You help them out. But like, even what I was brought up to be taught was to love your enemies too. So if you see your enemies suffering, I wouldn't let them starve either. But they're not my friends. We don't have to be friends with everybody.
No, you don't have to be friends with them. No. You don't have to be gullible. You don't have to be abused and used. I've done so many jobs when I've seen homeless people come up and they knew what time I was gonna wrap up, and they timed it, and it became a game. They're using the system. I'm not helping those folks. I will not help those folks.
So when on one job in particular, I knew it. I saw them coming, and I knew what they was gonna say. You got any spare change?
Before they could say anything, I said, I ain't been paid in 6 weeks. And that was true. I said, y'all have any money y'all could loan me? And they went off and discussed. If you offer them a job and they don't do it, they're abusing the system.
Yeah.
Well,
I have to get out of bed every morning when I want to sleep.
Yeah.
Hey,
No, I don't
Sparky,
do that. I don't do that. Go ahead.
can we say hello to Wild Wall? He's another Southerner. And San Diego are patiently waiting. Thank you for waiting.
Hey, no problem.
Come
This
in.
is Wild Wall. Me and
Yes,
Sparky
happy
talked on
birthday,
the phone.
Wild
Hey,
Wall.
Wild.
Oh, thanks, Fran. Yeah, it's been a great birthday. This has been one of the best by far, and it's only been getting better. Just seeing all the texts coming in and Facebook friends and family getting a hold of me. But yeah, Sparky, me and him's talked a couple of times on the phone. Hopefully, even more in the near future. But I just wanted to say a few things about what it had been touched on the comments there about, and even Fallen had mentioned about if we just show love to those that is our friends. Basically, that's the scripture in the Bible, right? And Luke, where it says,
Yeah.
if we love only those loving us, of what benefit is it? I was going to quote that. Today's my preaching now. I'm getting time in. but it says, for even sinners love those who love them. And if you do good to those who do good to you, what benefit is that to you? For even sinners do the same. So the point I was really getting at is just showing that Joe knows this. Me and him talked about Stoicism before. The Stoics, their philosophy is so much like the Bible back in the day. All through history, it's been handed down. It's like you do this to people for your benefit, not just theirs. It's like it's so easy to get offensive at somebody, but if you do like what Sparky was saying, just say, well, what kind of day did they have? What would make them feel this way? Then you can kind of have empathy then, and that helps you out. That helps you sleep at night. It helps your heart. There's been many scientific studies on this. You're able to sleep better at night. Put it all on them. If they don't want to be friends with you or show love, it's totally in the ball's in their court. You've done everything you can do on your end. But I would like to say this about Ruby. It depends on what you consider the word friend to mean. I think you do have friends, maybe not BFFs, best friends forever, that you're working on, but how would you describe those of us when you invite us over to watch a movie after this show, usually at 10? Would you say I'm going to watch a movie with my enemies?
No, I'm going to watch it with my community, with people, with mutuals, with online mutuals. But I'm not going to call somebody that I've never met in my life a friend. And even if you do know specific details about me or my life, or we know other people's stories, that doesn't mean that I know them. That doesn't mean that they're my friend. We're just mutuals, and that's the internet culture of what people think is a friend. And I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. We're just mutuals. We're acquaintances, but that's about it.
Yeah, I agree with that too, because there's a level of trust when it comes down to like a person that you just meet. And yeah, they're friendly, but they're also an acquaintance. And it's like, even when you play The Sims on the PS4, like it takes time for the Sims to get to know each other and to actually be friends.
Right. Good point, Fallen. I wanted to make a comment to Becky. Oh, I think we're having a glitch. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I just wanted to make a quick comment to Becky. Earlier she said something to the effect of, oh, like, now I know, I'll try not to trigger you. Well, I'm not afraid of that because I don't think anything like quote unquote triggers me. Because the way I look at it is, if my own family can do what they did to us, right? Then if somebody on the outside did that to me, it wouldn't even cause a dent. Like, it wouldn't even bother me because my family has done 100 times worse to offend me, to trigger me, to kick me out, to dismiss me, as if I didn't matter. So if somebody on the street treats me like that, it's nothing. It's like any other day to me. So I don't feel like things would offend me or trigger me or none of that. I feel like it'll roll off my back as soon as it happens. I am very quick to get rid of that toxicity.
Right.
Can we just say hi to Eric and San Diego? We got a lot of nice people here. Thank you for all joining.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Hello, Eric, my friend.
Hey, how you doing, San Diego?
Hey, can I
I'm good.
say
How you
my
all doing?
friend? Hello, my friend
Oh,
Eric.
that's Sparky. Sorry. Hey, Sparky.
Hey, he's my
Hey,
friend
neighbor.
too.
Yeah, I've actually been doing a little more research, and I found out since I'm a Libra, Libras like their alone time quite a bit. So that's
I'm a Libra too.
oh, nice. Yeah, I think
October.
yeah, I know Ruby had just brought this up about or was it Ashes that brought up about the solitaire time? I think I'm kind of used to it because I think I mean, I can go in either direction. I've never had a problem getting along with people. And even here in at the meetups, there's some that I like more than others. I know Steph and I kind of have we tend to like her and I like some of the same people, and we kind of like I don't want to say dislike, but treat with arm distance other people, shall we say, just based on, you know, I don't want to say I'll just say personality differences if you want to call it that. But I remember and then Sparky had just brought up a little bit ago about using all that time that we did out in service and using it to our advantage. And I think that's been kind of a key thing with me because even like say at the gym that I go to or the some of the establishments, it really hasn't been that hard for me, especially if there's a good ball game on the television, to just strike up a conversation out over there. And most of the regulars I've seen at the establishments are kind of the ones that I tend to see more over there, and it's very easy for us to just kind of like get a booth or a table in the lounge area or something like that, just kind of hang out for a little bit and everything like that. But yeah, I think that's, despite one of they did this personality test like over at work, and one of my top 5 strengths was also an includer. And I think for me, it didn't make a difference whether if I don't know, I'm trying not to forget, I'll just say it. It didn't make a difference to me whether a married couple were both men or both women. I didn't care. I didn't give two hoots about political backgrounds or religious backgrounds or anything like that. I welcomed them. I always welcomed them and always conversated with them. And I think that's one of the big advantages why, although I'm not officially out, but on the fade part of it, it's because I get to be more of my natural self with other people than trying to forge myself to be somebody who I'm not or anything like that. And being on my own, even in the org, I was used to that. I remember telling Ruby and Tony, and I think Wild might have been there too, about a little bit more about the family background and that, shall we say, that quote unquote spiritual legacy, if you want to call it that. There's a few other people, I think Colty and Michelle were there too, but the not being up to their caliber of spiritualness, if you want to call it that, has probably earned me more enemy, and I don't want to use the term enemies, but more forced isolation time than probably the average person. If I was the average person in the organization with the same with my family, then I probably would say be on an equal level with them. But because of the legacy of that's done missionary work, international conventions, things like that, in comparison to me, where I've just checked a box. I mean, that's just it's one of those things like when you're in the Oregon, bringing up a joke months ago. They were my friend when they needed my pickup truck. But then as soon as I got into a auto accident like years ago, and that ended up being a total loss, now all of a sudden they're gone. Wow. So it kind of like gave me a little bit of a distinct, it helped me to kind of see a little bit of a demarcation and I think that was part of my wake up process too, prior to the commission, was because of seeing how I was being treated by these people, even though my mother would say something like, "Oh, please let them use you." It's like, no, I ain't doing that anymore.
See, yeah. In all fairness, they're all different kinds of friends, and that's okay. That is okay, because there's so many different people in the world, and well, they all count one way or the other. They all count, just like you count. Well, they all count. Otherwise, it's a real lonely place. With so many people around, it gets real lonely, and that's a failure. That's a failure.
How about
We don't
you,
need to be
Eric?
lonely.
That's right. How about you, Eric? Anything you wanted to share?
Oh, well, you guys were talking about friends, and I don't know. It's hard to say if I have friends or not. Of course I do, right? I know I have a big community and people that I talk to all the time, and I probably have at least half a dozen of friends that I can truly confide in and talk to. But not having friends physically in the flesh, or any kind of family member, or say somebody, for instance, like at a time where you need someone to drive you to maybe just for a quick little doctor's visit where you need a procedure done and you can't drive yourself back. Sometimes it gets really hard to not have absolutely one single human flesh to give you a hug. So do I have friends? Yes. But do I feel like I don't have friends? Is it safe to say to everyone, yeah, I don't? I mean, I know I have you guys, but it's a different world we live in, where like I grew up in New England, so Joe and Fran can relate to that, because New York, I mean, I know it's a big state, but still it's kind of got the same vibe. But let me fix my earpiece. What's different in New England is how small it was, especially Rhode Island. And I didn't use the phone. I never called my friends. I thought it was weird. I thought you guys were weird. Everyone. Because yeah, you know why I called my friend? Hey, Joe Janess, how's it going, man? Yeah. You want to hang out? Yep, that's it. There's no talk after that. We'd go meet up because we live like 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes down the road, or we go get a drink. Like it was such a close-knit community that it was like, that's how I grew up. In my childhood, all my friends met at my house. We didn't call each other. I didn't get a smartphone until 9 years ago, and I didn't get a cell phone until I was 20 years old.
Yeah.
I just always fought that type of Facebook. I've never posted anything on Facebook until Desiree died, and it was a few things of her. I'm not the internet type of person. That's not how I feel love, and I think a lot of people could probably relate to that. And it doesn't mean that you all aren't my friends. It's just I can kind of feel what Ruby is saying a little bit, and just trying to connect things to how I feel about it too. Like Joe and Fran are probably more of my friends I would say Joe and Fran and Jerry are the closest people I have in my life. Jerry, because of this connection we have, but Joe and Fran, the connection we have, and we met, and they met my wife. And I can never truly express myself, who I am, unless I'm in person with you. I feel like the best part of my personality can come out when I'm there in the moment. That's how I function.
Hey, Eric, Joe and Fran bring out the best in all of us.
Say it again, Sparky.
I say Joe and Fran bring out the best in all of us.
Oh, I
Yeah,
agree
they do,
with that
man.
100%. Who knows where I would have
the
been?
most natural impasse.
I love Joe and Fran.
We love you too. You know, out of everyone here, the only ones we haven't met in person is San Diego, and we're going to meet him in May. And Ruby, one of these days, we're going to meet you in person. We've already met Fallen a couple times, and she's coming to the meetup. Sparky, we've met him several times. And Eric, we're so glad we got to meet you, and Desiree. It really was. I'm so glad we did on our trip. I can't express it enough.
Yeah, me too. It means a lot to me, more than you guys know too. I don't know if you remember, there was a hardware store next door, or I don't remember if it was next door or if it was the restaurant that we went to and it was the wrong place. But somewhere we went to, there was a Ace Hardware store, and it was called like Elders, like it was the Elders Hardware, but it was like an Ace Hardware edition, and I just like. Do you remember that? Okay.
That was in Rome, Georgia.
Anyways.
Rome, Georgia.
What's that?
That was in Rome, Georgia. The Elders Hardware was in Rome, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Rome, Georgia. Maybe that's a chain. Maybe there's a chain.
Yeah, it must be a chain then. Okay.
It might be a chain. I don't know. We got one. I don't know.
It just felt funny since there was two Jehovah's Witness families or couples meeting together that we run into that.
Yeah, we got one in Rome, Georgia.
Joe and Fran, I have two announcements.
Okay.
Let's hear.
The first one is a personal announcement. I mixed up the dates of my interview, so my interview is actually tomorrow at noon.
Oh, good.
I am nervous as heck. Like my hands are sweaty.
Yes. So is that for Amazon?
I wish you luck.
Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, I'm actually nervous to go, and it's not because I'm nervous about the interview. I'm nervous more because if I actually get hired, I actually have to go to work and show up and do the actual job. That's what gets me.
And then, Ruby, you're going to make some more friends, right?
That's right.
Well, I don't know about that. We gotta do more shows about that.
Ruby, you need my number. You need my personal number. I can talk to you. And y'all don't know a lot about my background. I'm diverse in a lot of different things. Emotional release therapy, natural healing, and all that. A job before I do what I do now, where I wore a suit and tie, and I hated it. I hated to wear the suit and tie to that job because I felt like I was at the Kingdom Hall the whole time. But I told the doctors hired me to tell them what their patients needed, and I hated it. I hated it. But I got a lot of training and I got a lot of wisdom from it.
Right. And the second announcement.
So good luck to you, Ruby. Good luck to you, Ruby.
Thank you, Sparky. And then the second announcement for Joe and Fran, for everybody in the chat, is that after the show, we do have the movie night on Discord, and tonight we're watching a movie called Life Stinks from 1991.
I remember that movie, or I heard of it.
Never heard of it.
So I will see you guys there if anybody wants to join.
Sounds like a comedy.
Thank you so much. We wanted to make one more announcement. Today is also a pasta dude's birthday. We just found out. He just texted us.
Wow.
So
Oh,
Wild Wall and Apostle Dude share the same birthday.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Happy birthday,
happy
Pasta Dude.
birthday!
Yeah, happy birthday.
I didn't
Happy
even know
birthday,
that.
brother.
He's on my phone list.
Yep.
Hey, friend, I'd like to say
Yeah.
something real quick before we have to log off. Let's see. Oh, Ruby's already gone. I just want to tell her what the definition of friend is. If you Google it, I like this definition. Listen at this. It's real quick. It says a friend, a person whom one knows and with whom one has a bond or mutual affection. So what I'm getting at is that's what I feel about most of you guys out there. Even today, with it being my birthday, so many texts are still rolling in and people saying happy birthday. And it makes you feel so good. And it's like when we had that hurricane, the first 3 texts were from ExJWs to check and make sure I was okay. So that's why I would describe these people as friends. They cared enough to check on me to see what was going on. And it sticks with you your whole life. So I don't mean we've known each other all of our life, but it just depends on your definition of friend. It don't have to be all inclusive and someone you've known or that you would die for. You know, that it might not be that good of a friend. But in that strict definition, I consider all of y'all friends. That's why when you call me or you text or send me something on Facebook, I'm like, well, I heard from a friend today. I don't say I heard from an acquaintance. That's just somebody I pass on the street, acquaintance. So I do refer to you as friends. Maybe not BFFs. I've only got a few of them, but once again, I'm going by the definition there. That's what I grew up with. And I do think that's a good definition under Google. It's just someone you share a mutual bond of affection with. And look how we're all affectionate toward each other because we know what we've each went through from the ExJW standpoint. We can
I
share
agree.
that affection with each other. We have that mutual bond. We know we might not know what's going on in everybody's life, but we know we've got something we can talk about and that we can share and we can build on. So in that sense, that's another way I consider you all friends. But I'll leave it at that because I know it's getting close to signing off time. And love all y'all. I've got to get going.
Thank you.
Hey,
Every
I got one more thing to add to it. I got one more thing to add to it. What you just said, only us Southern people understand that.
I think so.
I used to
Sparky.
live in the South.
I live in Southern
You
California.
used to live in the South.
I was
You
born in the
got to be
South.
Southern.
Yeah.
I was born in the South.
Well, I'm
I
gonna
don't
tell
have
you a
to
little
say
secret.
anything. I can just be
I was
quiet.
born in. I was born in Michigan,
I was born in Florida.
and
I was born in
my mama and
Texas.
daddy. Yeah, but my mama and daddy got me down here to Georgia as fast as they could for 2 reasons: to
Oh,
help me to learn how to speak proper, and he had that Southern hospitality.
That's right.
So down in the South, we know who our friends are.
So do we.
Yes.
Yep.
It's so
And
good.
my door is open. My door is open.
Joe and Fran, are you guys going to the thing, by the way?
The meetup, yes.
In May?
You're coming. Yes, you're coming. Remember, May 18th.
I know I am.
Okay.
I just didn't want to. I don't know if I could maybe. I don't know if I can carpool or maybe I could just follow you guys or something.
Well, you have to. Yeah, we'll figure something out because you're coming from Rochester and there's others from Rochester coming.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to I don't know. I'm having anxiety traveling recently.
No, don't even worry about
Yeah,
it.
we'll find someone you can
you're-
come with.
yeah,
Okay.
You're not going to get. No, you're not going to be left alone.
No, we're
with
not
that.
going to let you drive alone or anything.
Okay.
Okay.
You got you beamed right in.
Yeah, we'll take care of you.
See, I love to be friendly and everything. It's just I'm a single woman, a solo woman who's also disabled. And not everybody is your friend. You know?
No.
But
Great.
I see
That's
everyone
great.
on here. I see everyone on here as someone that I can potentially trust and be friendly with and everything. And I love everyone on here. I do.
Ashes, I'll be your big sister the
Thank
same
you.
way I am Steph woke up big sister.
Hey.
Or big brother, I should
I
say.
agree. Yep.
Yeah,
I agree.
We'll Yeah, Ash, we'll do some
connect you.
connecting, and we'll do a connect. You'll
Carpool.
connect with them too.
Yeah, a carpool.
Yeah.
Hey,
That sounds good.
Ashes,
Huh?
Yeah.
are you on PS Network?
Yes,
PlayStation?
I'm a PlayStation Network. Yes, are you?
Yeah. You want to take down my screen name, or
Yes, I would love to.
or I can give you mine, whatever's easier.
Yes. Fallen Ashes 96 is actually I don't know if you
All
have
right,
a
that's easy.
social media.
That's easy to write down. Just give me 1 second,
Yep,
because
Fallen
I
Ashes
already know
96.
your name.
Yep.
Fallen, no spaces.
No spaces. Just
You
Fallen
play like Call
Ashes.
of Duty or anything like that?
I just play Fortnite. And
Fortnite.
also
I have
Ghost of
Fortnite, but I haven't played it yet. But I haven't installed it yet. But I have it. That's cool. Well, I got a community on there, like a bunch of friends, guys and gals. If you want to join us too, you seem cool.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll be on there.
Cool.
Actually planning on going on now.
All right, I'll add you on.
Okie dokes.
We like range from the ages of like 18 and like 60.
Hey, love you all. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for letting me plug. Appreciate you. Yep. Hey guys, one
Hey,
other thing about
everybody.
Southern hospitality. Hold on. One other thing about Southern hospitality that Sparky didn't mention is about letting those that we love go when they need to get going. So thank you so much for having us on, guys.
With that being said,
Thank you,
love you
Sparky.
all.
Thank
Love
you,
you too,
Annie.
Sparky.
Thank you. Thank you
Right.
so much, Sean.
Bye.
Keep on.
Yep,
being
thank-
you. Everybody keep being
Like
you.
Celeste says, bye for now.
Bye
That's
for
right.
now. That's right. And bye, San Diego, Wild
Yeah.
Wild, Sparky, Annie, Shauna.
Good night, everyone.
Everyone in the chat. Thank
See
you.
you again.
All right, good
Right.
night.
Thank
Okay,
you,
love-
everybody, for joining us. We'll see you guys next Wednesday. Have a great week, and we look forward to seeing you guys on Discord after the show. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Making friends.
I'll never slow up,
I need
no, I don't
people
take shit.
making
I
friends.
got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel